here we are once again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However you happen to be watching and or listening to this, I want to welcome you to 2024's edition of GCP. I am, of course, your host, K Asante, TKO Asante on your Xbox, your PlayStations, all the places that you find me. And of course, I am joined this year, like last year and the year before, thankfully, by the man, the myth, the legend, developer, Mr. Everborn Saga. What's going on, sir? How you doing?
Has it been last year?
It's been that long, sir. This is season 4. What's going down? How you doing?
Jesus H. Christ. Okay.
Mm-hmm. How has your 2023 been, sir? How's your Christmas season, your holiday season? Welcome. Salute to everybody in the chat. We see you already. What's going on, Everborn? How's your stuff been so far?
It's been very productive.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I'm working on 2 games as we speak. I've been doing and we'll get to what we're playing, but that's gonna actually inform some of the stuff that I'm working on, because now when I'm playing a game, I'm playing it.
You're doing homework.
Playing for research. So I'm playing every 2D platformer and 2D beat 'em up that I can get my hands on. And I'm just taking the learning, seeing what I like, what works, what doesn't, what fits my vision, and then adding my own flavor to it. So we got a new animator on board who's really good. And so we're doing new animations. And what I'm thinking is that we should do I probably should have told you this before we got on air, but we should do a little segment every week just to show you what we're looking like, what we're working on.
That is an interesting idea, sir. And you know what? Actually, that segues perfectly into what I wanted to talk about from jump. And that's a bit of housekeeping, just some slight housekeeping that I want to do for the show, about the show, for us moving forward. You know, you guys and those in the chat, those watching, you know, you guys have been with us from the very beginning. Some new, some jumped on while the train was moving. We appreciate y'all so much, and you guys have been feeding us and giving us feedback as to how we can move this to the next level. So yes, this is the year where we start taking some of your suggestions seriously. Things like channel membership. Yes. I see you there, Gerald Mack. Salute to you, good sir. People like the Wandering Dutch, the Great Wandering Dutch, have been on my butt about it. It will be turned on next week. I'm putting it now into the digital ether. Either it will be turned on complete or incomplete, but next week is when it will come on. And when it does, I will of course be back on here, and we're gonna let y'all know what it's available and all the logistical details. There's too much stuff going on, man. There's too much stuff going on. It's making it difficult for us to make the moves we want to make. So there's that. Part 2, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Discord channel. Well, okay, to be fair, we've had a Discord channel even before GCP went live with its very first episode, but that's been a Discord channel that no one has been spending any time in, including me. But that has changed since, the X.com is doing all its funny business left and right. In addition to the weird stuff they're doing, also some people have been complaining they don't get tweets and things in a timely fashion. So we thought, maybe it'd be good for a backup. And then we started playing around on the Discord, and now it looks like it's pretty fun. We have a pretty good channels going on. We have a lot going on in the Discord. So I will put the link to the Discord in the chat. You will, when this show posts, you will find the link to the Discord. Actually, you know what? I won't do that right now. I'll open it up once I'm done, because Discord sucks. And the minute you open Discord, it will change all my audio links, and I am on OBS streaming right now.
No. Send me the link in the.
I can't send you the link because I have to open up OBS, and I open up Discord to do it. And I recommend you don't do that on your side either, because the minute you open up Discord, it'll steal your stuff.
We're starting 2024 with Amateur Hour. What do we do? We should have had this ready.
No, but needless to say, it will be in the show notes when this posts live. We will start promoting it. Oh, thank you. The master, the man, Lucius Augustus is in there. No, Lucius, he's in there. He put it in there. Salute to you, Lucius. Thank you, sir. Everyone join that Discord if you can.
Go ahead. I want to say something about the Discord.
Please, yes.
and this is an incentive for people to join. For the people that are in there right now, you know this already, but for you guys, all you guys listening, the 1,000 of you that there are every week, maybe more through other channels, but 1,000 on YouTube. If you join the Discord and you want to see what the process is like, the meat and potatoes of making a game, whenever I'm working on it, I stream it in the Discord. So it's not, I don't do it live to the YouTube, but if you're a member of the Discord, you can hop in there and we talk about stuff. Anybody who has questions about like how some of this stuff works, I try to just like explain what I'm trying to get done that day, explain how different things work. I'm using Unity, but join the Discord, check it out, and you know, you could follow this journey of me making a game.
And the Discord is exactly like the show. And what do I mean by that?
Don't lie to these people. There's a lot more cursing, and there's a lot more. If you want to hear Everborn Unplugged, then you can join the Discord. So
what I mean by it's a lot like this show is that there is a lot of slander in that chat. But we've made categories for it, right? You want to be part of Abacus Nation and go have fun like Mr. Joanna Dark does? There's Abacus Nation chat for you, right? You want to go be the Portal Stan? There's Portal Stan chats for you. You want to be PCMR? We got the PCMR chat for you. We've been doing a lot of interesting things, and we've been having a lot of fun doing it over the course of the holiday season. So yes, join our Discord if you haven't done so already. There'll be more in the realm of Discord as the memberships open up. We're gonna do private Discord channels for members. There's talk of Patreon, things like that. When all that materializes, we will be integrating more and more on that. So, so yes, thank y'all so much for the continued support and pushing us to do more and take it to the next level. And we're definitely trying, right? So, let us first and foremost let me catch up on some of these super chats because they were early. They were early, and of course, it being the new year, we have to show respect to all the great people who always pull up and all their donations because. Believe it or not, y'all donations really power this show. So much so that didn't we give away a Series X a couple weeks ago, a week or two ago?
We definitely did give away a Series X.
We did.
That was our first annual giveaway. I mean, absolutely. We every week, right?
But this was a substantial giveaway.
Annual Xbox giveaway.
Yes, and oh, by the way, we're not done with the Xbox giveaways because if you recall. If you happen to catch us on Primetime Gaming, salute to Double Barrel Gaming, salute to Mr. Boomstick. We have a great member of the community who I will not name because I haven't asked him for permission, but he has a brand new X screen that he wanted us to give away. Right, so I was like, hey, you know, we didn't want to give it away with the Series X because it's kind of odd, you know, it's a piece of an accessory that does not actually isn't compatible with the hardware we're giving away. So we thought we'd give that away later. Boom heard about it and went, you know what? I'll throw in an Xbox Series S in with the X screen. So guess what? We now have a complete package to give away. A Series S with an X screen attached. I'm talking PSX take it on the go style situation. I have used this situation in the past. It is excellent. So there'll be more logistics and details there. Maybe we work it somehow with a Discord or something to get some of the giveaway energy going. But we'll definitely talk more about that soon. Expect that giveaway, but relatively soon. So, Mr. Gerald Mack, $5 super chat, the best promoter in the business. You ain't doing ish, but he is. He's promoting us every Saturday morning. We appreciate that. He's here. $5 super chat. He says, New Year, great to have GCP back outside. Now with Xbox on location. Well, with X-location. Graybeards, we them boys, we outside Xbox World Order. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. And then of course, the handheld master himself jumps in to give us a little slander. Mr. Joanna Dark, $2 super chat. He says, welcome back, fellas. Sonic still sucks in 2024. You gonna let that one sit? I guess he's gonna let that one sit.
The devil is a liar. You don't have to get that energy.
Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll spend a little bit of time talking about a Sonic game today, because I played it too. That's a thought. But okay. Doovie with a $2 super chat. What's going on, Doobie? Welcome back to you. Happy New Year. He says, you can beat Sonic games with 2 button presses.
That's one more button press than it takes to beat a Mario game, but okay, sure.
Oh, bruh, come on. Are you
Mario?
No, that's not true. That's not true. Have you played Mario Wonder?
Have you played Sonic?
You grappling hooks, you doing all this. Oh, spoilers, there's a grappling hook in Mario Wonder. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of stuff to do in that game. What you talking about? Anyway. All right. So let us move forward. Let us start this conversation properly as we do. And what are we going to talk about? We're talking about the games that we have been playing. Now, Mr. Everborn Saga, I'm going to let you speak to me about a lot of the homework you've been doing, because you jumped on this train before me. Okay, now, and people see this right now on the screen there. You are seeing a game called Cookie Cutter. And from the top, I will say, they actually, after we discovered it and we started talking about it and playing it, I was 40 hours into the game, and then they sponsored us. So salute to the folks at Cookie Cutter. Actually, it's an independent developer, like almost single man team. Like, it is. Before we even talk about him, let's talk about this game. How long have you played this, sir? What is your experience with it? I want to hear your thoughts.
I only have like an hour or two in the game.
Okay.
So I'm not far into it like you.
Yeah.
Because as I said, I've been playing every 2D platform I can get my hands on. So I'm playing this. I need to go and finish Planet of Lana. I actually started playing Mega Man 11, which we'll talk about that later. Also, Wonder Boy Dragon's Trap. I've been playing Celeste, things like that. But so, and me saying all that, it does highlight how. Oh, another one. And shout out to Aaron in the chat, or Aaron as we like to call him. Wordless. If you haven't played that, that is a turn-based 2D platformer.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And it works. It makes sense.
Okay.
It's rhythm-based combat, so you're either on offense or defense. That's the turn-based aspect of it.
Okay.
But it's still action. What I love about all these things is they're all doing something very different. And what I love here, the best way I can describe this game is, it is like it's like Ori in terms of being a combat, like a melee focused combat, but also like it has like fatalities and things like that, right?
It has death animations, like
so, and then you have these different sort of weapons that you can like attach and heal yourself. So I would call it I'm trying to find a PG way to say it. But
but this game might not be that PG. It straddles that line a little bit.
No. And I get it. I was gonna say if Ori and Mega Man had a lesbian daughter,
yes,
and who grew up to be
an android robot,
yes,
an android robot who then gets murdered.
Don't give away the spoilers.
Oh no! This is literally what you just watched. They explain 10 seconds into the game. You're an android. It's a world. Somebody discovers some magic MacGuffin, turns the world into a super megatropolis with a bunch of robots called Denzels. Yes, Denzels. Right? And then in this world, you are a robot that's been created by your creator, obviously, who also happens to be your lover. And then y'all are in the throes of it, and out of nowhere, the Megatropolis's jackboots show up, steal your creator / lover, and this is literally where the game starts, and beats you to a bloody pulp. to an inch of your robotic life, and that's how the game starts. But man, I gotta say, this game is like, you know when you were like 12 or 13 and you were watching, like, I've said this show before I've said this on the show before. Did you ever watch Heavy Metal?
Yes.
This has tantalizing little heavy metal vibes. It's not hardcore in the heavy metal direction, like showing you gratuitousness, but it's got the thighs a little too thick. Every once in a while, a boob will fall out. It's straddling this line. She's got this white trash thing going on, trucker hat, you know. It's got this very interesting, weird, and I love it. And that's just the style. The swagger of this game is something else. The writing is hilarious, hilarious. They swearing up the place, but at its heart, it's a Metroidvania, like you said, right? You traverse the world, you fight enemies, and then you find components that will then help you reach the levels you couldn't traverse before. And the weapons are amazing. The combat, bro, you need to spend more time playing this combat. Like, I cannot and refuse to believe that this was not done by a AAA expert developer. Cannot believe that. The combat is so damn tight. It's amazing. Any schmuck at any moment can murk you to an inch of your life if you're not careful, if you don't watch your back. They're coming for you, and they got no problems doing so. I don't know how long you've been playing.
I will say, again, I've only played it for like an hour, but
okay.
It's no walk in the park. It's not, you're not gonna button mash your way through it.
Bro, I have 50 some odd hours in. Game time in the game says 4 hours because I got stuck on a boss that is literally ripping me apart every time. Now, I'm not the kind of guy, I'm not a Souls like, oh, I want to beat my head against the wall type dude. But every time you lose in this game, you lose because you zigged when you should have zagged, and you know it. It doesn't make you feel like they were cheap. No matter how hard the boss is, you can always traverse them. And oh, by the way, when you beat the boss, eventually he becomes fodder, and there's like 15 of them on the screen at some point, right? Like when you go later down the level and you've leveled up enough, those are the bosses, those are the fodder you see later in the levels that used to kick your butt when you first started. The game is full of style. Like, I am so impressed. I need to hunt down this developer and see if I can talk to him and ask him what his process was, because I took this as my amuse-bouche, my palate cleanser game while in between all the big games I was playing, and I dropped all the big games I was playing, and I'm playing this. Not to say I won't go back to them, but I need to play through this. Oh, and by the way, so there's a robot that talks to you called Regina. She's part of you once they rebuild you, but what part of you and where she's located, that's something you have to discover. And every time she talks, there's a blinking light. I'll just leave it at that. I don't know if you saw that. Have you seen that?
I was not looking that closely, sir.
Because you'll talk to her the whole time and you're like, where is Regina? And Regina looks weird, looks like something. Right. I'm just saying.
I get in all the trouble for spoiling games, and I feel like you're spoiling.
I'm not spoiling anything. This is literally the first 2 minutes of the game. I'm looking on my screen, and Regina just showed up, and she's looking like a bit of a peach. You know what I'm saying?
Is how the game brings you in, and they shock you with that opening scene. And I feel like you stole that from people. I don't know. That's just me.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Like 2024 has started, and he wants to lay it on me already. Pause. Well, but okay. Long story short, this is my full-throated, I already paused, recommendation that everyone play this game. Even before this was sponsored to us, and I appreciate their sponsorship, Rogue Games Inc., salute to you. Key Mailer, through Key Mailer, they got this to us. Appreciate it. I already had a code when they gave us a code. So did Everborn Saga. I actually ended up giving this code to Mr. John Wolf because I want him to play it, and we'll talk about it on Monday night as well. This game is like on another level, man. I love this game. Salute to Mr. Joanna Dark. He knows what I'm talking about. He's been playing this as well. $5 super chat. He says Blasphemous, Trinity Fusion, Dark Light. Let's see, Enderland and other games you should check out, Everborn. Also, Sonic Took Your Knees, Everborn. Never forget.
Mario.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, forgive me.
No. I'll definitely check him out. It's all part of it. Listen, I want to see if we can interview this guy. I also want to talk to him just about how he set up his combo system.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little bit of trouble with mine right now.
I feel like he built this game in like 5 years, and of the 5 years, 4.5 of it was just spent on the combo system. Like, man, oh man, it's so much fun and so effing tight. It is I am floored by how much I love this game. Like, and for my PCMR handheld dudes out there, this thing runs at 6 TDP, 60 frames per second. So if you're a ROG Ally guy, you're playing at 120 frames per second on silent, meaning you're playing this game for at least 4 or 5 hours on a handheld that normally lasts for 2. Super well optimized, can run on a toaster. Like, it's a mobile game, if you will, for all intensive resource purposes. But it's one of the best I've played to date. It's so good. People got to play it. So that is my recommendation. Sir, tell me what is going on in your gaming world right now.
So what has gotten most of my time, and then I'm probably gonna leave. I think I've gotten all I needed to. Mm-hmm. Do you remember 2017's Mega Man 11? I brought that up before.
Yes.
Why did no one tell me this game was so difficult?
But Mega Man is difficult in general.
No, but this is like
this is old school Mega Man difficult.
Cute characters like that and make the game that like annoying.
Bro.
Yeah, Cuphead. I get it.
You're looking at Cookie Cutter, cute little robotic girl with thick thighs, and they will
murder. The style here is very hardcore, so like you understand if it's gonna be difficult.
Man, this game is difficult.
Mega Man 11 is wild.
Yeah.
Difficult. It actually makes no sense. Lucius Augustus really wants to talk. He asked for a link.
Brother.
He really wants to talk about this.
Hey,
rumor.
Man.
I don't
might send you that link.
Give a lot of time to.
No. We'll take a different approach to it. But when that time comes, sir, you might get that.
I think we should get it out the way, honestly, right?
Well, that's in the news section. Come on. Well, let's finish. I want to hear about your Everborn developer journeys.
No, we're gonna do that. I'm just saying, once we're done talking about this, I want to get that out the way because nobody's gonna leave it alone. So back to what I was telling you.
Yes, sir.
Mega Man 11 does so it's a fun game. I like how the power-ups work. I am because you can play it in any order that you want. It's really just a series of bosses.
Which boss you want to tackle and which biome you want to tackle. Yeah.
Right. But you could technically, right, if you had the skills to, you could beat that game in 1 hour. Maybe an hour and a half. You're not gonna beat that game in an hour and a half, right? You are.
It's like Sifu style.
Yeah, especially because if you play with the limited number of lives, right? Because that's a thing it's not really a thing in platformers anymore, right? And that's
infinite lives.
I'm learning, right? Things that used to be normal in platformers, and you still get it in like let's say a Mario style of game or something, but when was the last time you seen a score or points in a platformer? Right?
Well, you already took my thunder, because the first thing I was going to say is I play Mario with my kids all the time. My son Julian, he is always playing Mario. So yeah, I see those game over screens and the death points and the point screens all the time. But those are rare now. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get it in Mario. You don't get it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing. This is just on the development side.
Yeah.
Well, why are you motivating your player, right? And if it's not for the highest score, which again, this is something that is born out from the arcade roots of gaming or whatever.
Yeah, people don't care about high scores no more.
Right? No one cares about that. But more interestingly, like, is the concept of having n number of lives, does it make any sense?
Yeah, because you can just hit restart. Because back in the day, if you think about it, that n amount of lives was how much you got for the value of your quarter.
Do you have, right?
Yeah, so, and now you have infinite quarters. So what does the value of your 1 quarter mean? Yeah.
And what does that mean for a 2D platformer, which is already a retro genre of game, or retro style of game? If you're doing a retro game without the retro trope, so you have to think of new ways. So what other purpose for collecting things can you have than upgrading your character? And I think that's why you see so many Metroidvania style of games today. There are not many jump on your head Mario style games, because unless you're going to do it at Mario's level, and not many people can, you know, you're gonna have
says the man creating a Mario style game. All right,
absolutely,
sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's dropping that gauntlet.
Right. But I did take a lot, and I'm thinking of ways not to change the core gameplay, because that is the idea of the way the core, and you've played some of it, but but changing the layout of how you traverse through my 2D platforms. It's not a Metroidvania, although there will be some inspiration there. It's more closely to Mario style game with Metroidvania.
So not a Sonic style game, but a Mario style game for the man who's creating. Interesting. Let us move forward, sir.
Well, I knew I couldn't be better than Sonic, but I do have a chance against Mario.
I'm sorry. that broke my brain. Are you kidding me, sir? You need to shut your mouth.
No, I don't.
Okay, like Sega, he's shooting his shot. We'll see how far Mario moves the goalpost. But by the time he gets there, I say Uranus.
All right.
They moved it to the moon for Sega.
Oh, ye of little faith. So.
Oh, come on, bro. I have much faith. I'm just hilariously listening to you slander Nintendo right now and their pedigree. Ooh, okay.
So the other thing is, I want you guys to check this out. It should be pretty cheap. The only other, let me go look at the name of this game. It's a I think it's like this indie game. It's like the only other like recent Mario style game I could find. Because there's a lot of 2D platformers now, but they're all Metroidvania. But the one that I said, well, who else is trying to do like a Mario style game? And it's about a Japanese businessman on his way to work.
Okay. Wow.
Let me tell you the name of this.
What a premise.
No. But it has all the tropes of an old school Mario game.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. So let me see if I can find the name of it, because I just.
And while you look for the name, I will shout out the man, Dave Ramos, with a $2 super chat, and he says, "Happy Sea of Stars Saturday, folks." Is it Sea of Stars Saturday for you? Does that mean you're gonna spend your day Sea of Starsing?
Well, I will say that's one of the things on my playlist, but
it needs to be on my list as well. Yeah, I haven't gotten to it.
No, but I mean, I actually
you're playing it. Oh, okay, cool, cool.
That's just for me. Okay, so this game is called Salaryman Shy.
Okay,
$5 on Steam.
Speak on it. What is this about? Show me.
It plays like not a Mario Wonder or a Super Mario U or something like that. A Super Mario Deluxe. I'm saying like old school Super Mario World is the way it plays.
Okay, sounds interesting. So those who shoot that shot against Mario better come correct, and it sounds like it's definitely heading in that direction.
It's super interesting, because like when you get a power up, like instead of throwing like a fireball, you're throwing a briefcase at people. Right?
Oh, that's awesome!
It's super interesting. It's $5. Check it out. So I'm playing that because I wanted to see if anyone even attempted to take on that
kind of style. Yo,
yeah. So and that's what at least that's what I can say right now. That is what the Arrows Adventure game is going to be, because every sort of 2D platformer is like, hey, I'm gonna make a Metroidvania, but I'm gonna put my own spin on it, right? Ori was just super cinematic, right? And it had an amazing combat system. This, again, super funny, super interesting combat and level up system. And what we're gonna do is, what if you made a Mario style game that had these Metroidvania elements?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's the line we're gonna toe. You're definitely gonna be jumping on heads. You definitely got to get to the end, but there are a lot of secrets and things you got to find. So, like I said, join the Discord if you want to learn more. Here's
Indeed.
our advertisement, right?
Indeed. Thank you.
You want to learn more? You want to see me working on this thing? You want to see? You want to do play tests with me? And things like that?
You know, when we start channel members and stuff, maybe you get a chance to play the Everborn Saga game early. You know, maybe you get the chance to be part of the test group. It's all good. But yes, if nothing else, scroll through the feed, join the Discord. It's a lot of fun in there. We're having lots of fun. We are taking recommendations, growing it. So if anything interesting you want to have added, now's the time to ask for it, because more often than not, we are listening, and we are definitely going to be taking your feedback into consideration. $2 super chat from Torino Johnson. Thank you so much for being here. He says, just some support, brothers. Thank you so much for being here. Happy New Year to you. Hope all is well. This is great seeing so many folks back in here, new and old. You know, 2024, we're doing it real big. We're almost at 100 people already. Great. Actually, we're over 100. We're 101. Fantastic. Thank you guys so much for being here. So, okay. We talked about the games we've been playing. Yes. Okay. So do you want me to bring Lucius in here? You want to have this conversation?
I do want to have this conversation. But there's another one. I just want to talk to everybody about this one. Really. This is one of Dotemu. I think that's how you pronounce the name. They did the Streets of Rage game. They did Streets of Rage 4. They did the Ninja Turtles game, I believe, also. Maybe that was Lizard Cube.
No, it's Dotemu. You're right. I remember seeing that logo at the beginning of Shredder's Revenge.
Right. So Lizard Cube worked on this with Dotemu. It's called Wonder Boy Dragon's Trap.
Oh, yeah, that absolutely.
That old game. I think it was a Genesis game.
And it was remade 2 years ago. It's been on. Yeah, it's been given away for free to everyone on every service at this point.
They do this very cool thing where you can press a button and instantly
switch between
hop into the pixelated art and then see their hand.
We call that the Halo anniversary treatment.
Right. And they do it with the chiptune audio as well. So you can get the today's music, like orchestra style, or you can switch back
versus old school. Yep.
And it's so, because they just put a new skin. But you want to talk about remake templates, this is one of the ones, and it came out in 2017. This is one of the ones that kind of started that. Hey, you got an old 2D game, let's throw this new skin on it. So highly recommend. It's really fun, and it has a lot of these sort of elements that we're talking about. You get the new animals that you morph into, and each animal has their own power. So once you unlock them, if you get to a certain obstacle, you switch to that, and then you can what do you call it? There's a lot there, and the art style is really good. So check that out. It's everywhere. It's on Xbox. It's on Switch. It's on Steam. It's on PlayStation as well, which is apparently what they're saying Hi-Fi is going to happen to Hi-Fi Rush, which I don't agree with, but we'll
oh boy. Yes. Okay, but so the game is worth your time, is what you're saying?
Absolutely. I stand on it. If you're into 2D platformers, check that one out. It is extremely good. Okay. And there's others, but that's where. And then, like I said, I started Celeste, which the only thing that I can really take from there is because there's no death and there's no real enemies. It's just getting up a mountain.
Celeste also has very tight movement, right? If you're doing your homework, Celeste has amazing diagonal, like super tight movement. It's really good. Like people use that to test games, to test handheld games all the time. Handheld controllers, and because it's super fast movement. It's a wonderful game if you haven't checked it out. But all right. So okay, Mr. Gerald Mack, $2 super chat. Just kind of putting the final note on that last topic, saying here's something towards the GCP emojis. Wink, wink. Yeah, man. You know what? I have like I will put it into the universe. We need to create a Gerald Mack "you ain't doing ish" emoji. That would be awesome. I want a "you ain't doing ish" emoji that I can use to promote on the show because he does such a good job. But I want I wish I could take a picture of him and then put it through to the AI designer and say, give me this animated, but with "you ain't doing ish" floating bubble on his head. But yes, thank you for being here, sir. We always appreciate you and all your promotions and all your support for us. It's awesome. But okay, let us move on and talk about this conversation. But before we do that, though, like I said, all are welcome here. We're going to talk the talk. As you see on your screen, I want to start the conversation first and foremost, because I believe these two are relatively in the same kind of ilk or importance level, right? We don't have official confirmation, or even none of the repeat offenders have picked any of the story up just yet, the Hi-Fi Rush story, because it's so new. So this is where we'll start, which is that the Horizon MMO that's rumored, which still hasn't been confirmed by anybody, but it's all but confirmed because everybody's picking it up, that I forget the name. I think I forget the name of the person who leaked it first, but basically that they're targeting it for PC and mobile, and it will not hit the actual platform of the PS5, right? Saying, I don't know, I believe that that's the same kind of conversation as, hey, Hi-Fi Rush is going elsewhere. But to have that great conversation, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you. I want to introduce you, if you don't know, to this gentleman. If you happen to catch our Starfield spoiler talk during our holiday break, you may have caught the elusive one. We call him the one who sits sipping his cognac and smoking his whatever he's smoking in front of a huge backdrop of a moon, if you know what I'm talking about. The elusive one, Lucius Augustus. What's going on, sir? How you doing? Welcome to the program.
Thank you for
What's
having
going on,
me.
man? Happy to have you here, man. I know you want to have this conversation. I know we've been in the background. You've been very, very much pushing to have this conversation. But let us first and foremost start with this thing. I might have a different opinion of this versus the Hi-Fi Rush thing, but let's start from here, okay? As I described, rumored MMO made by NCSoft, in cooperation with Sony. It's not first party, but this is their first gas game kind of that we've heard is coming out very soon. Not hitting PS5, only mobile, only PC. Is that a problem, sir? I'll let you go first, Lucius.
Well, taking into consideration that it's a third-party project, it's not something directly under you. This kind of reminds me of Diablo Immortal, right? And with Diablo Immortal, it was originally supposed to be a mobile game. They knew that they also wanted to take advantage of the PC audience, so they also made it for PC, but it wasn't supposed to be a PC game first and foremost, and it wasn't supposed to be a console game first and foremost. So if this is the way that they're approaching it, which is this is primarily a mobile game, but we are also providing it on PC, then that makes sense, right? In the same capacity that Diablo Immortal made sense for growing that audience, so that way Blizzard could fully take advantage of that audience when Diablo 4 comes out, and we saw how well it did for Diablo 4.
I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just looking at this tweet that was put in thing, and the chat response is so hilarious. Garbage confirmed. I'm sorry. people are already losing. I didn't see that before. That's hilarious. Anyway, but you know that people could get in their feels about this. You know what I mean? This is a little bit, you would think this is like the level of, well, okay. Some people would say so, some not, but this is like your God of War game, MMO comes out in partnership with NCSoft and doesn't hit the PS5. It just seems a little that's surprising.
We need to see what the game is before.
Yeah.
Okay. You may look at the game and say, okay, that makes sense, right?
Because
it could be small. Yeah.
If you look at the game, it looks like a
right.
But that doesn't matter. Card games are on PS5. Mobile games are on PS5. It surprises me that they would actually not target that platform. It's easy, right? You guys are 100% correct in that it's mobile focused, it's PC focused. That's their energy. That's where they want to get most of their hits, and I completely agree with that. But it's like Microsoft putting Halo Spartan Strike, a mainly mobile game that was meant for mobile, on their console. It ain't gonna do much there, but it's easy. It's our platform. Just let them have it, right? The main play is mobile, sure. The main play is PC, but you're not even gonna bother putting it on PS5? That just seems a little weird to me. I don't know.
I think if it's a primarily mobile game, it makes sense for this. But once again, we're part of this is a lot of this stuff is a game of telephone, and a lot of things get misconstrued and X, Y, and Z. There's a chance that the place that they got their information was from the developer who is developing this, and they are simply developing it for mobile and PC, and maybe Sony is taking care of the PS5 port of that game. And because of that, the place where the person gets their source
didn't have that part of the information. Yeah.
Exactly. And the next conversation that we're going to have has some of that nuance as well. And everyone can get into that.
So Lucius, it's almost like we shouldn't jump out the window at the mention of any ridiculous rumor.
And on that note,
no. I want to say this. I want to respond directly to that.
Yeah.
If this was the 4th or 5th time that these rumors were coming out about a PlayStation game, then I would look at the PlayStation Hooved brothers and I would say that you guys have 100% legitimacy to get mad at this, because your platform is being devalued in some capacity. This is the first time that we're hearing about anything that even comes close to like this on the PS5 side,
which is why I'm surprised.
So surprising,
right? Exactly.
Surprising, but it's just one of those things where this could very easily be misconstrued. This could very easily do whatever. This is not like a PlayStation themselves told you this. So considering that this is the first time that you've ever heard of something like this, maybe don't take it, fully. Take it with a grain of salt, X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely.
But in the other example, this ain't the first time we heard something like this.
Bam. In this example, which is that Insider Gaming is now picking it up, saying Hi-Fi Rush is coming to Nintendo Switch. It's claimed. Now, who's claiming it? Some people on Reset Era are claiming it. Nate the Hate, who has a strong track record of coming up with good information.
That's
not what Nate said. He said there was a game. He said there was a game coming. He said it's a game that was critically acclaimed by Xbox fans coming. That's all he said. And now, since that time, what is his name? ILO, whatever his name is, has come out and said, I bet it's Hi-Fi Rush coming to Switch, and people have started running with that. So it wasn't Nate the Hate's initial take on it. He didn't put Hi-Fi Rush to it. He just said a game would be coming that was in that ilk. Everborn Saga, sir, I know you're winding yourself up into a frenzy about this whole thing.
I'm not.
Well, I think you are, because of how people are taking this. But go ahead and take your shot, sir.
So I expect the certain when I just look at what's going on, I expect certain takes from the media I expect certain takes from the Hooved hooligans. But what
Hooved hijinks, they
gets
say.
me animated is that Xbox fans jump out the bridge every time they Xbox fans have been so abused that they just jump out the window with this stuff every time it happens. And that's Xbox.
How many times are you gonna Tina Turner me? How many times are you gonna Tina Turner? How many times are you gonna smash my head against the large aquarium
cake anime
in front of everybody like that?
Eat the cake anime. No,
yeah, how many times are you gonna tell me to eat the cake before I just take the kids and leave?
Is this the kind of show we're gonna have right now? Oh man. Okay.
The thing is this. You wrote the song and you can't even remember the goddamn word.
Yo, you remember the word for word. I don't remember. I haven't seen that movie since I was like 20. Like, it's a long time ago. Anyway. Yeah.
But the thing is, it does not need to be DEFCON 9 because that is not what he said.
Yep.
That is what people are assuming.
Assumptions,
and that is the game that everyone wants. And that is the game that has people jealous of the platform. And so that is the one people are throwing in that slot. It could very easily be any number of service games.
Yep.
Right.
And I want to make it clear, the reason why Xbox dudes are reacting as negatively as they are is because the idea of a Hi-Fi Rush, something that is critically and audience acclaimed, the moment that you get something good, you start going somewhere else with it. Now, obviously, we don't think that this is probably the case, but a lot of the ire is coming specifically because of that
idea.
Not that idea, not because of the rumor as a whole.
Okay, let me throw a curveball into this mix here. Okay.
Oh well, sorry. I should say we go to DEFCON 1.
Yeah, because DEFCON 4 is much lower. 1 is the high. Yes, indeed.
Sorry, Flo.
If devil's advocate, what if this is correct? What does this do? What if this is right? What if?
Let me answer this, and then you can go.
Go ahead.
So here's the thing. And again, I'm fully aware that the little bubble that we are in is not the whole pie, right?
It's not even a piece of it. It's like a little ornament on top. That's it. There's nothing else. It's a bigger pie.
Maybe there's 10 casuals to every one of us.
Yes.
Hardcore that pay attention to this so much.
Yes.
And that's fine. The only thing I'd say is a casual will play and buy one game a year, whereas a hardcore
plays many.
Right. They'll so that we might be outnumbered 10-1, but we might be spending 10-1 also. So I don't know that you just throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's thing one. But what it says is, because Starfield was my game of the year, right?
Yep.
But it was met with a lot of controversy. Fastest way to get clicks if you write something negative about Starfield, right? The mixed ratings, whatever, right? The one game that Xbox has released in a long time that universally, this is really the first game that was universally loved since Forza Horizon 5.
Yep. It's beloved. Right? That's right.
And what message that sends is any game that is well received from all sides is too good for the Xbox, because this is the box for the controversial mid game. This is the Redfall box, right? People actually like Hi-Fi Rush, so
that's got to go. That's got to go with PlayStation or Xbox or somewhere else, right?
Right?
As soon as people saw it,
good games go, right? And so, listen, we all understand. If you're Minecraft, if you're a COD, if you're an Elder Scrolls Online, if you're a Fallout 76, and listen, I don't know that anyone truly associates. Listen, even if it was, and I'll go into the second part of what I was going to say. I think people would understand if you said, "Listen, Sea of Thieves has gone as far as it could go. It's not bringing any subscriptions. A lot of people love it, but they don't really associate it with Xbox.
You know what? You know what? Actually, it's funny you bring that up, because with the Nate the Hate rumors that we're gonna have some kind of prominent, Xbox primary games go on other platforms, I venture this is what I believe. Like, and if you look at the tea leaves and you look at the history of it all, like, I will say 90%. I will say 90%. If it happens that an Xbox game goes multiplat in that direction, I say it's Sea of Thieves. 100%. Who has currently history working with Nintendo multiple times, as recently as a few months ago with the release of 007? They're always, in one shape or form, still working with Nintendo. That is rare. So now, the fact that Sea of Thieves goes and becomes part of Switch 2, that's a no-brainer. Like, no-brainer.
And I know Lucius is not going to agree with this, but I wouldn't care if Sea of Thieves, and I don't think most people would care if Sea of Thieves went to PlayStation.
I don't.
It's a certain game.
Yeah.
You're going to let it
I would care if it went to PlayStation.
Grow.
You would care.
If you go to Switch.
You
don't give anything. You don't give anything to the dude who's been pissing in your soup.
Nothing.
No, but for real, dude, these people have been making your life a living nightmare, and currently still are with the FTC. Yep. They are getting in the way of procedure stuff during right now as we speak. During the court case with the FTC, they're still fighting Microsoft. Sony's still doing that.
What about this?
So
Lucius?
why give them anything?
Quick question, Lucius. Let me. Quick question. I'll let you go, Evan, but I promise. You're saying
on what Lucius was saying.
Go ahead.
It's to his point.
Go ahead.
I want a quote for you. In order for PlayStation to grow, they want to make Xbox smaller.
Smaller, yes.
Here, let me give you the knife to stab me in the back. Please.
Facts.
Yes. No. I get that. I 100% get. I completely get that. I get that. And I see you in the chat, Slow-Mo in the chat, going, which PlayStation games are coming to Xbox that aren't forced by MLB? Maybe the ones that are forced. Maybe the ones that are forced by Disney. Who knows?
Am I going to get Spider-Man? Am I going to get Wolverine? Am I going to get X-Men? Am I going to get?
It depends. It depends on the relationship that Disney has with Microsoft.
Again, and I want to classify what this is about. Right? And I would love it if Aaron could come join us, because he is playing devil's advocate. And
yeah. I'm trying to play devil's advocate as well. I'm trying.
Yeah, we're all just agreeing with each other here, or at least me and Lon are. And I don't know if that's great for the conversation, but I'd love it if he could jump in for 2 minutes.
There's a first time for anything. 9 lives, 210. There's a first. He's like, there's a first time I agree with Slow-Mo.
So here's the thing. What this is ultimately about. Because again, we can say this is about money or whatever else. You just bought ABK.
Yep.
You are already making higher margins than Sony. You are now going to be making money in the realm of Tencent, right? After the ABK purchase. So at this point, if you're saying that the games that would bring affinity towards more people coming into the ecosystem, that's what we ultimately want. You don't do it with a thing like this.
Fact.
It makes no sense, and I feel like we're having this discussion over something that is ultimately going to be much to do about nothing.
It is much to do about nothing. We know this, right? They make their plans, and then people,
But I don't think it's this at all.
So what is to the thought? What about those who say that, hey, even though it's not a big deal, they use the argument during regulatory back and forth that, hey, it's a case-by-case basis. And at the time they used that case-by-case basis, when you looked at the record, it was half in, half out. Half were, half weren't. So you could say, yeah, it's case-by-case. And they need to keep putting it, they need to keep that up. Otherwise, next time they go in front of, that's this one. Next time they go in front of regulators and they try to bring Sega home, And these same regulators, let me finish. These same regulators go, hey, you said you do case by case. Now we see the few went to PS5 or other consoles, and since that time, every other game has come to console. What to the exclusive? What do you say to those who say that they need to kind of keep that back and forth of case by case going in order for them to get the next thing that they want? And if they don't, next time they go, that's what's going to kill them. What do you say to that?
I'll say three things to that. One is the fact that we need to be very clear that when we all heard that, we all said in our mind, man, that's bull jive. They are simply using that because currently now
bull jive.
It's just half and half. but we know in the future, based off of what Phil said, hey, the reason why we are buying Bethesda is because we want to bring quality exclusives to where Game Pass exists.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So if we are going to believe those words and that he's trying to bring those quality games to Game Pass, this Bethesda argument that the FTC was trying to bring has been irrelevant in the first place. They tried to bring the Bethesda argument in as a way to be able to make their point about ABK.
Sure.
But you have to remember, when Microsoft signed everything about Bethesda and got all the regulatory people to like pass that through, none of them ever said, hey, you have to bring everything by X, Y, and Z. And there was no legal determination that they had to do that. Even the example that the FTC tried to bring up, the European Union was like, nah, homie, that's not how it went down. We're using the FTC's false arguments as a way to be able to restrict.
Well, it's
Xbox
false now.
That's just not.
All I'm saying is, in 4 years from now, when they go to buy Sega, I'm doing that for you, everyone. They go to buy Sega, and then they go there, and they're like, see, we're going to be case by case. And they go, well, you said case by case, but since that time, look at everything that's exclusive versus the things you put out. You think that won't matter?
Except nobody put any legal restriction on Microsoft for that to be case by case.
Well, but that's not the case, though. You're right, but I guess the point is, it's always been the thought that the noose around their neck are the words that they say in the public. And when they say case by case, they get held to that account forever because they said it. Are you saying that since there's no legal framework around it, they can wiggle their way out?
Wait a minute.
Because that's always been the thought. You know, go ahead, Evan.
Wait a minute. How can we bring up this concept of they use words and it gets used against them and it's a noose around their neck, and then make any argument related to releasing a first-party game on other platforms? You don't think that's going to be a noose around their neck?
Oh, of course it is. Obviously. Look, and let's be clear. I am being devil's advocate. I think this is ridiculous. I agree wholeheartedly with all of you. I'm just using the talking points. That's all.
You do not negotiate with terrorists. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. But if they put Hi-Fi Rush right now on a PlayStation, do you think that Lena Khan and the FTC are just going to be like,
we're going to go, yeah, everything's fine now?
Guys.
No, of course not.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course not.
Exactly.
No.
And
but the whole argument is just disingenuous in the first place. But the Microsoft, having no choice, has to contend with it, right? We already knew from jump that this whole ABK thing was ridiculous, that they had to fight it in the first place, but they still fought it for 2 years.
I don't. These are conspiracy theories at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, absolutely.
We're moving further away from what Nate the Hate actually said.
Okay.
Again, people are twisting this out because people want Hi-Fi Rush.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
And Xbox people are running with it because we're not used to having a W.
Yep.
If you listen
to
Stockholm syndrome,
Ron is running with it because he wants to kumbaya and hug everybody, and that's fine.
So do I.
I don't rock. No, I do not rock with you. No, I do not rock with you kumbaya dudes. I don't rock with y'all.
Seriously?
Yes, I don't rock with y'all.
Why you to hold the line, Ron?
Because here's the thing. Y'all ain't rocking with us. What PlayStation game is coming? No, listen to me. What PlayStation game is coming to Xbox?
Besides
what Nintendo game? Yeah. Besides MLB The Show, which was literally forced to them by the MLB.
Sure.
So what Nintendo game is coming to Xbox?
Oh no, your point is valid. So why is it that they must give up, but everyone else gets to keep what they have? Well, but the reason why that tends to come up is all those others don't tend to come in front of the judgment of regulatory bodies from time to time, right? They tend to kind of keep what they got.
I don't care. I'm a gamer. I am a gamer.
Absolutely.
I do not care.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I want to address two things. I want to address my personal feelings toward why I'm reacting this way towards the Hi-Fi Rush situation. And then I want to bring us back towards reality, which was what Nate actually said. And because I want to discuss those games and the games that are actually possible based off of what he said.
I actually want to throw a game at y'all that we haven't discussed yet in that Nate the Hate conversation, but continue. And I'll get to the super chats in a minute. Please finish your point.
By the way, I just want to be clear because I don't know who Nate the Hate is. So
he's got a pretty good track record.
He has a very good track record.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is like the source of all things that are true and just and right.
Stop that.
He's like 70 to 80% right a lot of the times. And here's the biggest issue. Just like any other leaker, people misconstrue what they say.
Yeah, and it turns into a whole thing.
A few months ago, Nate the Hate said, "Hey, Arcane's next game is going to be announced at the TGAs." People took that exact language that he said and twisted it and turned it to say, "Oh, Dishonored 3 is going to be at the TGAs."
Yeah, they did say that. Yeah, he just said a game.
What ended up happening?
Blade. Yeah, absolutely.
Blade, and Blade is the next Arcane game coming out, and it was released there at the TGAs.
So he drops a nugget, and people misconstrue it and take it too far. I get you. Okay.
Now I want to take the Hi-Fi Rush thing. The reason why I'm so upset about the Hi-Fi Rush thing is we're hearing about rumors of this less than a year after the game came out.
Hasn't been released.
Once again,
why would you be upset about a thing that I think we both agree is not the case?
Not the case. But once again, this is me standing on business and saying this is how I personally feel about this situation. And if Xbox doesn't recognize the importance of their own platform and building a brand affinity towards the games that come out on that platform, then why am I here? Okay, and the reason why I say that is because we got an email from Phil, that leaked email that talked about, hey, why is it that all these third-party AAA companies are having issues right now? The reason why they're having issues is because they never built a brand affinity with their brand. They only built an affinity towards very specific games. So when the company's in trouble, I don't give a damn about Ubisoft. I don't give a damn about EA. I don't give a damn about 2K. I don't give a damn about these companies. Where's the next GTA? Where's the next Far Cry? Where's the next? See, this is why they get into these situations and they get into these ruts, because nobody cares about these companies. They did not build that brand affinity. So when you start taking your good games that
and moving it elsewhere,
critically acclaimed and everything, and moving it elsewhere, you are moving that affinity elsewhere. Right. Yeah. And I'm able to see that as someone who bought into the entire ecosystem. And if you don't care enough to keep that ecosystem filled with things to bring more people in there, then why am I here? Why am I spending my premium dollars on Xbox when I can get almost every single game on discount on PC? Right?
I mean,
like, why am I doing that?
That is a valid question there, Elusive One.
Right? You know, like, but I am an Xbox dude, right? Yeah. I have PCs and I have those options, but I like to play where I like to play.
Yeah.
And if you keep doing this to me, I am not going to stay here.
So basically, Aaron is saying that you're with that kind of talking point, you're basically turning into a pony. If they don't make my hardware, if they don't give me reason to keep this hardware, then I'm not buying this hardware.
I'm not mad at them at trying to expand. And this is when we get into the more reasonable discussion. What did Nate the Hate actually say?
He just said
he actually said a game will come out that was when the game released, it was
critically acclaimed
and was a game of the year, was in the game of the year conversation, right? Based off of the way that he said that, two games pop up inside of my mind.
Go ahead.
Fallout 4 remake.
Okay.
The new gen version of that, and Obsidian remake. or not Obsidian, Oblivion remake. So those are the two games that we already know kind of exist. We already know that, like, most likely the Fallout 4 version, when Fallout 4 came out, it was in the Game of the Year contention, 100%.
Sure,
when
it was in the Game of the Year conversation. Sure, yeah. But wouldn't
Oblivion
you say
won Game of the Year when it came out?
Wouldn't you say though? And this is when this came out, and it came out, and everybody was talking about it like a game before people went to Hi-Fi Rush. This is where I went. Wouldn't you say though that Ori 2 was part of the Game of the Year conversations when it came out? Ori 1 wasn't, because it came out broke. Ori 2.
Ori 1 and Ori 1 and Ori 2 both already came to the Switch. You bring any of those games to the PlayStation, and I'm gonna look at you sideways once again.
Well, but no, hold on. Let me give me a moment. I understand you're gonna look at them sideways, but the reason why I'm saying specifically Ori 2, and this is just my thoughts here, and then I'll get to the super chat. My thoughts here. The reason why I say Ori 2 is because you just saw, we all know what happened with Moon Studios and Ori, right? The idea that Ori would come back is probably not necessarily likely, because there was a bit of fallout. People were like, oh, and every time the Moon Studios comes out and they tend to speak not the best way about Xbox. There's been some drama, right? And then No Rest for the Wicked shows up. People see the trailer and people are floored. Shortly after, what happens? You see the same people who have been very dramatic on socials about Xbox and Game Pass and all that, coming with very mea culpa language, right? The first thing I thought, and I have no basis of thinking this, first thing I thought was, hey, Moon always wanted to put their game everywhere. That's actually was the base of their fight with Microsoft. Maybe No Rest for the Wicked gave them the opportunity to do a tit for tat. Hey, will you allow us to put Ori 2 on PlayStation and elsewhere, and No Rest for the Wicked is Game Pass? Like, we don't know that, right? That's where my brain went, out of nowhere. That was literally where my brain first went, right? Hey, he's always wanted it to go there. Maybe this is how he negotiated his way into that. What do you think of that?
Two things. One, we don't negotiate with terrorists. All right,
but they're not terrorists. Calm down.
No. Listen to me. There's all sorts of rumors, accusations, whatever.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Studio heads and racism and sexism.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Else. So I don't forget about that, right?
But No Rest for the Wicked is out, has been trailered, and is also on Xbox Wire talking about it, meaning their relationship has not ended.
Sure, that doesn't mean you bend over backwards for dudes that I'm gonna say were accused of racism and sexism and X, Y, and Z.
Yes, absolutely. You're
gonna bend over backwards for those dudes and put a game that you already own the publishing rights to. You own all rights to.
All rights to it. Yes.
And so you're telling me you're gonna bend over backwards to please some racists, so that way you can put your game in a platform that's been pissing in your soup for the past 2 years?
Well, but you're saying you're not on business. Be on business, right? They see No Rest for the Wicked. That game made a huge splash. It was a monumental trailer. You're telling me if Moon Studios sits there and says, look, man, we want to rekindle that relationship. We know the bag is more lucrative, and Game Pass as a whole is far more lucrative now. But in order for this to go into GP, we need you to allow us to put our other game on another thing. You think that's a non-starter? Like, there's a scenario where there's a scenario where Sarah will go, nah, sorry, you're either we give you the bag, we do this negotiations, but Ori is ours, screw you, get out of here. I think that I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that is something that's in the pot that could happen. Right? Well, that's exactly what happened with Nintendo. Moon asked for it, and they said okay. Right? Maybe it was a negotiation thing.
Nintendo has not been doing what they've been doing, like what PlayStation's been doing.
I get that.
Every single dollar
that they use to Xbox, try and screw us. Yes.
To destroy Xbox.
But he was also talking in a court of law when this was all necessary. You needed to twist the knife at that moment. Doesn't mean that's what he really meant. Like, if we can listen to Everborn Saga say don't listen to them when the regulatory bodies are after them, right? Because look, the feds are on the street. Don't necessarily take everything they're saying seriously. How can we say that when they're saying something else, but they say this and you go, "Yup, we're taking it whole cloth." Maybe they were under oath and they needed to skew the book certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Because we know for a fact that Phil got that dog in him. Because when he had Bethesda, what did he do? Indiana Jones? That's
true.
Mine.
No, true. That's for sure. Yes. In the back, he's got Peach's energy for sure. Jax82, $10 super chat. Forgive me, it's been on the screen for a while. So the game is a hit on Xbox, and now you want it Nintendo PlayStation. Shaking my head. And the Sony fans will claim Xbox as their game, just like Starfield. Tell me I'm wrong. Don't give them anything or bail them out. So clearly, Jax82, thank you so much for the super chat. Clearly, Jax is on y'all side. I am trying to be the devil's advocate to keep things interesting, but wholeheartedly, I really do agree with you guys. Robodon 202, $5 super chat. Thank you for being here. He says, I just don't know how this helps build Xbox build up Game Pass. This and sending other titles to the other two condition will condition those fans to just wait. Absolutely. That I've been an advocate for that for a while. It's like, it's one thing to put Microsoft Flight Simulator somewhere else because it says, hey, Microsoft Flight Simulator. But all those other games, I don't know. I don't tend to think that they would do what people think they do, which is bring them to the platform. I don't know about that. And then, of course, Buck with a $10 super chat. He says Xbox has 2% market share in Japan, outsold 4-1 in Europe after 20 years in the video games industry. Hi-Fi Rush even select Xbox on PC handheld and cloud. Switch 2 is how they get more gamers, not on PlayStation. Yeah, so in other words, they can easily find gamers everywhere besides the PlayStation ecosystem, which they themselves have said that, right? They don't need the PlayStation ecosystem between PC, console, and all those other places. That should be enough. Final super chat, and I know Everborn, you've been patiently waiting, sir. Mr. John Wolf, $5 super chat. He says, we want to welcome everyone into our Discord, and why are our games going to be in competition? Smoke is justified. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Everborn, you have been patient. Get your bars off, sir.
So the thing is this.
Yes, sir.
I think it would be a bad idea to do. I think what it would do around the brand wouldn't be good. But you also have to consider that we are dinosaurs, and they actually just don't care about you, Xbox ecosystem fan, right? And if
you are an 8-track player lover, you are a cassette player lover.
We are thinking about a world that maybe is dying or doesn't exist anymore. That's the adult side of the argument. But the thing about finding an audience and finding customers is branding means something.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right? And to pretend that it doesn't, why will someone buy a $1,400 iPhone every year or every 2 years? It's not because it has the best specs, right?
I mean, they could be called Everborn Frivolous Spending Saga. That could be why. I'm just saying.
It is because they're in love with the brand. Why are PlayStation and Nintendo? Why do people continue to buy those? Right? Why are they the default? They didn't fall out of the sky that way, right? They got there by serving their audience, right? And so you know, to say that, you know, Xbox doesn't really have or doesn't need to have a specific audience, is, you know, if you feel that way, that's fine. But I don't think it's stretched too far to say that I don't think it's a stretch too far for anyone to be not, I don't mean concerned, but I mean, I feel like I'm talking to you, Aaron. I feel like you think that, okay, the Hi-Fi Rush doesn't matter. Everything should be everywhere. And no, it doesn't need to be a tit for tat, but you know, these things are important, and I don't think you should kind of throw your most loyal fans away. Now again,
why is iMessage not on the Android? Because iMessage is probably one of the most important things that iPhones have on it. If they ever put iMessage on Androids, that would destroy the affinity of Apple.
Wait a minute.
Here we go. We're not derailing to Apple land. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to give an example. I just wanted to give an example.
That's not what I mean. So I'm seeing in the chat, it doesn't bother anyone that a game would come a year later
to PlayStation. Yes.
Sure, but why not make that 6 months? Why not make it day and date?
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
if you're so okay with bleeding away,
I do want to move on from this.
Yes. Let's move on.
Like we are.
I just think it's super interesting. And oh, real quick, we have another topic that is similar to this topic, so be prepared. Where it's not the information, it's the implication. Go ahead, everyone.
I feel like we're giving this way too much energy. Again, for something that may or may not be real, and if it becomes real, we can address it then.
Yeah.
But if you don't like this, right? Because you're the customer, right? And you know, trying to grab the dollars on the other side, you know, at the sacrificing the hardcore customers that kind of kept you around and kept you in the business. I don't know if that's a good look, right?
It's connect energy,
and
it's connect energy.
No. I mean, listen. Here's really the facts of the matter. If you're preaching that everything should be, you know, everywhere, day and date stuff, that's totally fine. But
it's a two-way street.
I don't think we're in that world yet, right?
Yeah,
we're not. Now, if we're saying that you have an ecosystem and a single store, and wherever that store lives, you can access your purchase games or what do you call it? That's a little bit of a different thing. But again, I don't know that we're there. But my whole point in bringing all this, and I know where Lucius stands. You stand somewhere in the mushy middle. But
to me, it depends on the game.
Right, it's a case by case thing.
Yeah.
But again, I just want to highlight why this doesn't make sense. The thing is the thing is this: a single player game, right, is one of those things that are looked at and a game that's sort of nominated and things like that. It has that single pop, and it actually does. A single player game does give identity to the place where you can play it, right? And the reason PlayStation got where it was isn't because people like the words PlayStation. It is because they built up to that position by a steady release of quality content and creating partnerships with people who would release that content exclusively on their platform. It is a part of the business. Even Phil Spencer himself has said it's a part of the business. So if you have a service game in the same way that Destiny is owned by PlayStation and goes everywhere, right? Again, I think we all understand that, but a game that has people looking at your platform with envious eyes for the first time in a while doesn't really make sense, because it's not a game that has a large audience that you need to cater to on a monthly basis. Right?
Yeah.
A service game makes sense to do. I think that's what it is. And again, the source you guys are citing, Hi-Fi Rush sounds good because it causes this lively debate that we just had.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't know that
it doesn't work for them in the long run.
I don't know.
I agree with you.
As much financial sense as some of the
Service
other
games,
candidates, which are
Sea of
Thieves,
yes,
which are Flight Sim,
Grounded,
which are Grounded, which are Aura History Untold when that comes out, which is Age of Empires. These are all things that make sense. These are all games that they have cult followings, and you don't hear people shouting from the high tops. You don't even hear journalists. So there's no perception to the broader public that these things are associated with Xbox. Not in the same way a Halo, a Gears, or a Forza is.
So what do you think?
Hi-Fi Rush could
be
be one of their mainstays that says, hey, this is a part of Xbox's identity. I don't know that it makes sense. And if you do that, I'll say this, and I think we should move on. If you do that, it's pure greed. It's nothing to do with, hey,
you don't care about your
struggling. Ecosystem. Listen, 3 million people played this game. A lot of people know about it. It was nominated for several categories. I think it was 5 nominations for Hi-Fi Rush or something like that. The media loves it. The people love it. Everyone will be looking forward to a sequel.
What do you think of J-Rock's suggestion? By the way, J-Rock, $2 super chat. Double Fine, Psychonauts 2 makes sense. So Psychonauts 2 single player game, Switch 2. Is it on Switch?
Sure.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, Psychonauts 2 is already on PlayStation 4, right?
Yeah.
It's
not on Switch, so it could be there. That makes sense.
I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
And I think that, once again, I think this conversation is only happening because of Hi-Fi Rush, right? If people because once again, based off of what Nate the Hate specifically said, most likely it would be either a service game or something like Oblivion Remake or Fallout 4 next gen edition, because but with both of those games, you're able to get people you're able to keep people interested in the Elder Scrolls world and in the Fallout world, despite the fact that new games in either entry isn't going to show up for like 6, 7, 10 years, right? So you have to kind of keep the interest in the general public of those properties.
Yeah, makes sense.
So those two specifically make sense for like the second part that he was talking about, and the service games make sense for the first part that he was talking about. Hi-Fi Rush does not make sense with either.
It doesn't fit in any of those parameters. Yeah, no, you're right on that. You're right on that. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me take a quick note before we continue, and we'll move on to some other stories we have.
Yeah, we didn't have super chats, and then we'll
move on. Yes.
I feel like we are making it, before you go, we are making it bigger than it is.
Okay.
By giving all this energy to it. So I want
to. Oh, no. I just love the implications talk. Not even this. This is nothing. This is, but the implications are interesting, and what people think about it are interesting. But ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't hit the like button already, please consider doing that. We have almost 200 people in here, only 77 likes. Let's at least get to 100 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Get to 100 likes. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much. You appreciate all the
further. Hey, chat. If we can get to 200 likes, I'm gonna do I'm gonna show you guys a quick play test. I'll show you the game
Oh, wow.
I'll run it in Unity right now.
Wow.
If we
well, I can't share your screen from here though. How are we gonna do that?
But I can share mine, so it should
No,
go, right?
it won't work. No, because you're not on StreamYard. Stop it. You're on OBS.
No, but it should take over my video feed. We'll try.
Oh,
it.
yeah, you're right. You're right. It might take over the video feed. Yeah, interesting. That might be interesting. Okay, we'll try that. All right. So,
all right, and if it doesn't work, then just come to the Discord.
Then we'll come to the Discord and we'll get it done. Yes.
200 likes. I will show you.
We're climbing 89 likes now. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. We have been doing pretty good so far. 2023 ended with us hitting our goal. Obviously, 2024 we have the goal for. You know what? We're going 4,000 this year. 4,000 subscribers is our goal for this year. You want 5? Well, there you go. He wants 5, right? So please. If you're able to subscribe to the channel, please do so. Hit the like button if you like the content. Buck, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, Everborn, do you agree that if Nintendo had been do you agree, I guess, if Nintendo had been a vocal opponent of a BK deal versus signing that $10-year COD deal, then ABK was dead. Like Nvidia, Nintendo played ball with Microsoft and got rewards. Sony didn't and will get the pain. Do you agree with that? Meaning why we're now possibly seeing games going to Switch. Maybe them helping ABK, it brought them closer together versus, they're adversaries. They became partners in helping them secure that deal, is I think what he's getting to. What do you think of that?
That would be very interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought.
I like the way he thinks. It's very Machiavellian.
Yeah,
and I would respect Nintendo's gangster.
I mean, haven't we talked about, you and I speak often about how Phil's got friends with weird names and they play golf and eat together, and all those weird names individuals also are heads of state in many respects, right? So, you never know. It could be a situation. But okay, let's see. And then, of course, we have the great Gerald Mack, $5 super chat. He says, it's all bull jive. Y'all are aging yourselves with this bullshit. It's all bull jive. If you to play Xbox games, if you want to play an Xbox game, hashtag buy an Xbox. Stop port begging. The effing same rules apply, sir. That is something that nobody wants to admit, but clearly.
I think that is where we cap that topic off at.
Exactly. Now, Splendiferous, $2 super chat. He says Bethesda was to make exclusives for the brand only, which so far they have been, right? So far they have been. We'll see where they go with it. But all right, let us move forward. So we spoke about this. We put it where it belonged, right? I saw this news real quick and I thought, hey, that's interesting. Starfield is getting nominated for Game of the Year at the New York Game Awards.
Nice. You think it's the result of a troll vote?
Do you think what's his name? Keeley will be in the audience and scream "You lie" when the vote gets read? Because he's gonna be in the house. It is what it is. But yes, I saw this. I thought it was cool. My question is, do people watch the New York Game Awards? It became a big crystallizing thing for me when ILP did a whole show on it and they brought people up and all that. I thought it was really cool. Is that something that people watch? I know you're in New York. Is that a big deal in New York, or is that just comes and goes?
I didn't know that it existed.
Okay.
But it could be huge. I just never heard of it before.
Yeah, remember ILP brought it up last year, right? The New York Game Awards, and they were there. They actually had pictures with Phil and a bunch of stuff. So yes, I saw this come up and I thought, hey, that's cool. It's an interesting thing. Now, here's another story. This one is interesting because this is, again, like the implications talk, right? This is not real. I know people can get all triggered, but I read this, and the headline I read, and I read the whole thing. It's an article, obviously, from GameIndustry.biz, and they've sourced it from GameIndustry.biz Japan, right? And Gamatsu also even picked it up. Lucius, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on this. It seems to me that they're seeding the ground to say that the console sales so far, although they were successful, are, quote, won't be enough to recover development costs for next generation. What does that sound like to you? I don't know. I read that and I thought that was so odd. Lucius, I know you about the tech. You read the speeds and feeds. What is this? What does this sound like to you, sir?
Yeah, this is very confusing to me because 100 million units is a lot. And if you can't make enough money, well, one, that I want to address the fact that no manufacturer should think, oh, I should make money off of these consoles, because you're going to lose money off of them. And you'd be lucky if by the end of the generation you break even when it comes to the hardware alone, right? But that's not why you're here. The reason why you're here is to be able to sell software, is to build an ecosystem and to get people to buy software on your store. That's where you really make your money, right? So this, when I read this, it made almost no sense to me, because Sony shouldn't be looking at it this way. They should be like, all right, well, if we sell 100 million units, that's 100 million potential users that we get to sell things to. And it wouldn't make sense to just suddenly be like, well, it confuses me, because that's not how it should work, right? Now, with this most recent PS5 Slim model that they've come out with, they've made a lot of changes, primarily to like the cooling. There's significantly less cooling than there was previously.
Less cooling, less iron, less copper vents. They've dumbed things down for the purposes of cost savings. Yes.
And we're seeing temperatures as high as like 7, 8, 9 degrees additional Celsius in comparison to the fat model. So who knows how that's going to impact the console over time. I don't know.
I was here. I was one of the people here on this show talking about, it's not going to hurt you or me in the short term, but as I'm a guy who has a fat PS3 sitting there still running righteous since the first day I bought it, day one, this will make sure that doesn't happen more in the PS5 generation. The older it gets, the less performant it'll be, and it'll drop, because you're basically, by allowing it to be hotter longer, you're shortening its lifespan. That's what I said when I first saw this. But yes, I do hardly agree with you.
And because they use liquid metal as a way to be able to cool the thing, it's even harder to service it as a normal person, because let's just say 10, 15 years from now, PlayStation 6 or whatever's out at that point, maybe we're just all playing in the cloud. I have no idea. But if I still want to play my PS5 and all I have is a PS5 Slim, now I have to mess around with like liquid metal to be able to reapply certain things, to be able to get.
To be fair,
and now
it's not that hard.
Cooling's not going to be as good.
It's not that hard to apply liquid metal. I've done that myself. I run liquid metal on my machine. It's not that hard, but it's not like paste. It's not like toothpaste that you just put on and move on. This is like, you got to be super careful. It'll spill everywhere. It's crazy. Anyway, yes, continue. But to the point, and the reason I brought this up, my very first thought that I was like, huh? That emoji where you go, huh? And then the question marks all pop up, is exactly what Hardgeek pointed out right there, which is, this literally is sounding like they're seeding the ground, and King was right, and there'll be no PS6. If you're already selling 100 million units and you're going, well, that won't be enough to recoup the next gen console. What? You need this console to recoup the next gen console? So that means it sounds to me like you're already seeing the ground to say, well, we didn't make enough, so I guess we're not making the next one. Really? Is that what you're trying to say? Because it sounds like it. Am I wrong? No, Everborn Saga, sir, I know you think this whole thing is ridiculous. What are your thoughts on this one?
Malarkey.
Okay, so you're also dating yourself. Go ahead, Biden.
This has, in terms of recouping the development cost, cost is very different from when they're ultimately profitable for the generation or whatever. I think this is much to do about nothing, and I think the headline will lead you to believe one thing that is very different from the actual reality on the ground. Console hardware is a loss leader. Point blank, period. The only thing this tells me is that they were lying when they said that they were profitable on every unit.
Yeah.
Other than that, that doesn't mean anything, because the business is software sales and services. That's what the business is. How many units you move is,
you see, and
irrelevant.
this exactly what you're talking about there. Exactly that is what told me that this is like Square Enix, like 4, 5, 6 months ahead, saying, oh, by the way, all of our games from our Western studios aren't making any money, even though they're critically acclaimed all over the place. And me and you and a bunch of people were like, they sound like they're about to do something stupid, right? And then ultimately, what did they do? They sold off all the Western studios. Hollywood accounting, you called it, Everborn. This sounds like that conversation. It's like, well, let's start the seeding of the ground now, because eventually when people don't like what they like, we can point to this and say, see, we told you we weren't making money. Like, it doesn't sound... It sounds disingenuous and accurate,
right? What is the source of this? Is Sony saying that they won't be able to?
Yeah. This is okay. This is not Sony specifically saying they won't recoup the cost. This is Gamatsu and GamesIndustry.biz, like, doing the background thing they do and speaking to some of the people in the background. And what's the business analysts basically saying that this won't recoup the cost for them. And they have not come out, and I think there's even Sony people in the background talking about it. So I'm not saying it's righteous. I'm just saying that the headline, specifically from people who tend to be PlayStation people, like they tend to be good with PlayStation news, this seemed a little bit.
This seems like the SEO guy earned his paycheck this week.
And I want to say, anybody who has worked in kind of a business setting, you know what talking to a business analyst is like, right? Like those dudes can very easily lose themselves, like can't see the forest between the trees. Yes. They will hyper focus on one aspect of something and just not see the whole pie. And so it could in the same way that Jeff Grubb heard from a business analyst that Hi-Fi Rush didn't do what it was supposed to do when it comes to sales.
Yep.
That business analyst was only looking at things from a sales standpoint and doesn't understand Microsoft's and Xbox's whole dynamic.
Full vision, yeah. Yep. They think dollars and cents of the sale is the only thing, when clearly Microsoft was on some other stuff and nobody seemed to understand that. No, I do agree with you on that, 100%.
This might be the same situation right now where a business analyst just doesn't understand that hardware is not really the point. The point is to sell that hardware so that way people buy the software on that platform.
Absolutely. Yep. So I saw that and I thought that was interesting. Go ahead, everyone. I'll let you have the last word.
It's almost because what you said is very clear, Lucius, which is the business is software and services.
Yeah.
You would be fooled by 90% of the games media only talking about console sales.
About console sales, yes. Yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
It is true. Mr. MDJ with a $2 super chat saying, no PS6? King David is crackling. You can't save Kong. He's out there, bro. He is a one-man band saying PS6, you can't save Kong, it's over. I'm not quite there with him on that, but if it were to happen, boy, oh boy. Okay, so I have one last little story to talk about, and then I want to talk about 2024 games, because that's what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about 2024 games. I want to talk about what we think we will see at this purported direct that we're going to see that's potentially coming at the end of this month, and all the games in between, whichever platform, anything you're excited about. But before I get to that last story, I want to hedge my bet and I want to throw it in here, and because I'm not sure if you're in there, Mr. John Wolf, catch myself and Mr. John Wolf on Monday nights on this very network, where you will catch us on the Gamers Playground talking PCMR. I see you in there, Dorian Gray, and a few others, Floodzilla, right? And we will be talking about this very topic as well. But for the time being, since I have two tech guys on the show, I did want to talk a little bit about the Claw. Ladies and gentlemen, another contender has entered the field, and his name is the Claw, the MSI Claw, ladies and gentlemen. Lucius, I know you saw this. Is this exciting to you, or are you like, get me the hell out of here? Not another one of these.
I don't know. Like, I'm glad that more companies are jumping in because I like there to be more competition.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a very competitive space because it seems as if, I mean, at this point, the only gaming laptop manufacturers that haven't jumped in is Dell and their Alienware kind of product, which is very interesting.
Yeah, because they had a rumor, they had a prototype way back again. Yep.
That prototype was huge and it ran super hot, ran for 45 minutes or something like that. But like, I love the fact that there's more competition in the space. Don't get me wrong. I am very cautious at Intel and their Meteor Lake chips. Because there's been some kerfuffle about them on the laptop side and whether or not the performance that the laptops that were sent to reviewers had memory that was faster than would typically
be put into the normal machine
inside of those exact models. So the performance wasn't essentially what you see reviewers are talking about, and what you're going to buy aren't going to be the same thing.
Yep.
So that really brings my whole question into how is this thing going to perform in real life when people actually have it in their hands. And if you guys think that AMD has driver issues, oh my god. Just wait until you have an Intel graphics card and you have to try to figure out how to play the newest game, and now your game is running 17 frames a second, ray tracing off.
So, okay, Everborn Saga, Mr. Handheld guy, Mr. Gabe Bucks. What are your thoughts, sir? What do you think of this?
I'm still asleep.
He's still asleep. Wake me up when the Steam Deck 2 comes out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Steam Deck 2, Switch 2.
There you go. Well, but I wouldn't even put
date with Hi-Fi Rush.
I wouldn't even put Switch 2 in this conversation. These are different devices. But yes, continue.
Well, I mean, if the Switch 2 performs at least on par with the Steam Deck,
it'll be a lockdown thing that this is not, right? That's why it's different.
Which means you'll get better performance out of it. But anyway, that's besides the point.
Sure.
I have a ROG Ally. I have a Steam Deck,
and you have a Steam Deck OLED. Yep.
The winner is the Steam Deck for the so I just want to classify this. I don't care about all these things, and it is the Wild West, and it is a mess. And the reason it is a mess is because Microsoft will not get off their asses.
Oh no.
And update the experience. Like Windows is not designed to be on a handheld. It's
Talk to him.
Sure.
Right.
Well, you shouldn't say this with Lucius in the room because he's Mr. Applehead. He's gone. You're giving him more ammunition right now.
Hey,
it is what it is.
That's gaming right. That's trash on the Mac as well. Right?
Go ahead.
So my point is, when you use if you use both like I do every day, right, less and less so the ROG Ally. Yes, the ROG Ally has a little bit better performance. Yes, there's more compatibility because it's straight Windows, but the Steam Deck is good enough at so many other things, and it all comes down to user experience, right? And so I'm just going to take you through a journey of a couple of games that I played.
I'm not even going to respond because he's got my talking points now. I could just sit there and just be like this. Go ahead. Yes.
And I want to be very clear. What I want, and this has nothing to do with fanboying or anything like that. I want a no compromises handheld from Microsoft. And if they're too chicken shit to make it themselves, they're too gun shy to make it themselves, that's fine. Create an experience that is on par with the Steam Deck. What happens when if I have a Steam library right now, right? Steam has cloud saves, and anything that I buy on Steam, I can go play it on my PC, and then on the go, I can take it, play it, on the Steam Deck, don't think about it. Cloud saves just work. All my entitlements are here. Here, I buy it one time. It works across both devices. And guess what? The user experience on the handheld is the console user experience. Meaning you just click on a game and you go. And it just 9 times out of 10, it just works. Right now, performance
no tweaking and twerking necessary.
Nothing. There's no ass shaking that has to go on. No twerking, right?
It's still tweaking and twerking. Who's twerking?
No drug use. No ass shaking. Right?
Okay.
You just use the device and it works. And all I want every time I use the Steam Deck, I just think I want an Xbox experience like this. Right? I literally
these are the moments. These right here are the moments that I wish I could just hit a button and then you see a video of Everborn before saying the absolute opposite and me going, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. And now he's
that's also not true. And you are using a Windows handheld, so you
sure. Hey, the chat is my witness. Y'all heard me.
Did you get a Steam Deck OLED? That's all I want to know. Or are you using a Windows device?
I did not get a Steam Deck OLED,
so
but I may have
seen the light.
I may have one soon, but that's a different conversation.
Oh, I told you would get one.
No. That's a different conversation.
My knees, but anyway,
I may get an OLED, but that's a whole different situation.
So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just want a similar experience. When I buy a game on Xbox, I just want to play it on a handheld, and I don't want to click through menus, and I don't want to know if the mouse cursor is working or not, and I don't want to see a print spool driver popping up. I don't want to have to jump into Armory Crate and then jump into AMD's custom updates.
That you will always have to do. If you're in Windows, even if Microsoft creates the software that runs well on this, they will, like, Asus won't give away, they won't like forgo Armory Crate. There will always be that in the background. But to your point, if Microsoft is able to put together an experience that's unified and clean and proper enough, all those others will just basically not get used in favor of that one.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will buy the device that doesn't like clutter that up. But my point is, what I would like is an experience that I do not have to think about. Right.
True. Yeah.
Make updates to Windows, or my preference is make an Xbox OS that just works. But even then, here's the problem. I wanted to play what's it called? Sonic Superstars.
Yeah, which I played recently.
Right?
Not Superstars. I played the other one, but yes.
If I would love to play that on handheld.
Yep.
And okay, there's a Windows store. I got my Xbox. I buy it on Xbox. Guess what? It's not in the Windows store. I got to get it in Steam. So I got to buy it again. And there's no cross save there because those stores don't talk to each other. Right? Now, when I played Diablo 4, I know that will come to Game Pass or whatever at some point, and then this will be solved for me. But I can't wait for them to buy everybody. But Diablo 4, it did have crossplay, but I had to buy it twice to do that. Right? Same thing with Larian's game, Baldur's Gate 3.
Well, but you always keep bringing up these business gatekeepers, right? And you're talking about technical solutions to solve and I've said this to you before.
I didn't bring up one technical solution yet.
You're saying that unified thing would solve that. What I'm trying to tell you is they would potentially put the roadblocks back. But continue.
Words in my mouth.
Okay, go ahead.
All I am talking about is my user experience on the Steam Deck versus one of these Windows
all
devices.
These other machines. Yes,
what I am saying is my purchases do not go forward.
True, they don't. Yes. Multiple launchers and
right. And there's these user experiences that are just not. They take me out of what I'm trying to do. And so the only handhelds that I will consider going forward are going to be whatever the Steam Deck 2 is and whatever the Switch 2 is, unless Microsoft either makes a handheld Series S. Shout out to Lucius, he's here. Series SP.
Series SP.
Series SP.
That's right.
Or they release an OS that can do what the Steam Deck does.
Which, isolates
right?
and
Until then, I don't want to hear about any new Windows handheld, because to me, I'm not having it. Right?
Sure,
I'll just if I want to play my Xbox games, I'll play them in xCloud. That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
With a 15-minute queue.
So okay. Right? We'll move on from this story, but one thing I found interesting about this, which I thought was notable, and we'll talk more about it on the Gamers Playground on Monday night, but with the exception of the Steam Deck, which you see in this list here, right? The Ally and the Legion Go are literally the same dude. Same exact device, different clothes. Within them, same chip. Same everything. Yeah, the cooling is different versus the other one, and because of that, one can maybe perform maybe a little bit different than the other, but they're all literally the exact same device, from your ROG Ally to your A1 Pro. Now, the A1 Pro just throws a lot more hardware at you, but under the covers, it's still the same 7480U, 7840U GPU, CPU and GPU combination, same RAM, like it's all the same. This excites me as the tech guy because it's not the same as all the others. They didn't put the same clothes in it. The 8000 series of chips are coming, and presumably they're exactly the same as the 7000, except AI that nobody will use on handhelds. So it's not really advantageous for them to put the same chip in this thing that they've put in all the others. It won't get them anywhere. So where they're going Intel. Now, of course, Lucius has some words, and I agree with Lucius on this, but the potential of it being interesting, right? A unique, different thing that we haven't seen before is very interesting to me. For the record, I need to see the battery life. I need to see the battery life. I need to see the performance of the GPU. They're using the ARC graphics, which those who've tested say has outperformed your RDNA graphic set, right? They've said that it's almost twice the performance of your RDNA, the RDNA graphic set that you're used to in the Steam Deck. Not Steam Deck, in the Ally and other devices of its ilk. So potentially this hits higher. It's got higher CPU cores. So the question remains, is this still within the normal price range of these devices, or are you looking at a $1,200, $1,300 device? If it's $1,300, DOA, right? But if it's exactly the same price as the Ally, as the ROG Ally, or all of the 7840Us or Z1 chipsets, and has twice the CPU, twice the cores, better GPU performance, and the others work right, that's an interesting competitive dynamic, I think. While at the end of the day, all your software mishaps and all your issues with software doesn't change any of that. Absolutely true. Mr. Lucius Augustus, I'll let you button this up. What are your thoughts, sir?
I'll say that I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah,
when
true.
This is out in the wild and people actually get in their hands.
Testing it in their hands,
then,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then
on paper, it's interesting, though.
Yeah. And on paper, it's interesting. And I don't know. I'll wait and see. I won't slander it yet. But what I will say is I'm more interested in more and more competition jumping into this space.
Yeah.
And I think that the handheld space is being held back by x86 instruction sets that are a bit too big, bodacious for their for the form factor. And I will say that one of the things
here's his M2 propaganda. Go ahead.
No. But one of the things that I will say about Microsoft is that they need to get Windows on ARM locked up. They need to get Windows on ARM. They've been
working on that for a while.
A joke and don't get me wrong, it's come a long way.
But it's still not ready for prime time. It's not not even a small piece of the pie, let alone it's not even there. It's not. It's still a reference design at this point.
Yeah.
Even though it performs much better now.
It performs much better. And here are two things. Here are two things that let you know that it's not ready for prime time. Windows on ARM is still free.
Yes.
you can't buy Windows on ARM. So they are not confident enough to be able to sell it to you as a product. Well,
because they also know that it's hard for you to find Windows on ARM compatible hardware.
So that's the second thing that I was going to say. Microsoft loves setting up the rakes for them to step on in the future. They signed a contract with Qualcomm that limited it so that way Qualcomm was the only ones who are going to produce these ARM chips for Windows. You put a company in that position, they have no reason to do anything more than they need to do. So Qualcomm released like 1, maybe 2 chips in that like 4 or 5 years that the contract's been signed, and we haven't seen anything on the Windows on ARM side. In fact, AMD was probably going to jump in that, saw the Qualcomm thing, said, all right, well, we're going to step back and really focus on this Zen thing for a while. And you have NVIDIA doing the ARM thing with Nintendo. So they're already primed for all of this to happen. And the moment that Microsoft gets their their head up their butt, out of their butt, and actually starts supporting the kind of next generation hardware to software combination that we really need, because I feel like Microsoft is just stuck on this, like we need to support all of this legacy stuff, and I understand, but like when you supporting 32-bit applications is getting in the way of you properly supporting these new.
So Curry Cosmos has some slander for you, and I know this will derail us, so I'm not trying to, but he put it out there, so I'm gonna post it. And they saying, I don't consider Qualcomm the contract a rake. They're the best ARM wise. Go ahead, Lucius.
No. So
go ahead. I know
they are the best when it comes to cell phones that have a very limited like heat range. You're not expecting much from a phone. A lot.
Samsung
like,
beats them in ARM.
Like cell phones are able to hit high numbers, but they cannot sustain those numbers for any period of time, right? Even the new chips that Apple has inside of their new iPhone 15 or whatever, after about an hour, your things aren't looking too hot, right? In the iPad,
this is hardware that's not actively cooled; it's passively cooled. So sustained clocks are a big problem there. It's fluctuating. Continue.
So the question is, will Qualcomm continue to be the best when you put them in a situation where you can properly control the temperature? Can people like AMD, who just have years of experience creating CPUs and GPUs and all of that stuff, can they just jump into the ARM game and from their expertise alone completely trump what Qualcomm is doing? I think that might be possible, but when you set up a contract that stops people from being able to even jump into that space in the first place, you set yourself up for failure. In the same way that Microsoft signed that contract with Seagate, making it so only the Seagate people could create the drives for the Series X and Series S, that kept the prices up for a very long time and made it so that way it became harder to be able to get those products. It became a cycle in where, because those products weren't selling as much, the price stayed high, but the price stayed high. People weren't buying it because the price stayed high. It's the same situation with the ARM chips, because things aren't being developed for ARM because there aren't enough ARM devices out there, and there aren't enough
chicken or eggs
out there
chicken and egg story. Yes, absolutely. But you know what? We will move on from this. Everyone, I'll let you get the last word. Go ahead.
Before we do move on, there's a lot of these hurdles, but as there's two things that Lucius said that I want to. A lot of people look at what Apple did with their hey, we're just doing a cutover.
M2, we're done. M1,
Yeah, you can do that when you have 7% of the PC market. You cannot do that when you have like nuclear missiles running on.
You are responsible for all manufacturing of hardware and software. So you can literally turn on a dime, and only people you have to convince is yourself. Move. When in Microsoft's scenario, where they have partners upon partners upon partners who've been working with them for years, you got to tell Dell to switch to ARM. You got to tell HP and all those others. It's not the same. That's why it's an apple and oranges conversation. mainly.
Well, I will say, at least on the server side, a lot of server side is moving to ARM anyway.
True.
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
And the consumer side, and like we're seeing the consumer side, that is going to move to ARM rather quickly. So
Yeah.
I'm not telling them to give up all the back end and all that important stuff. Still support that stuff. That stuff is still going to make you a lot of money. I'm not telling you what to do in that space. I'm telling you, when developing Windows for ARM, this very specific fork that you don't even consider worthy of selling yet, you have to be forward thinking when developing that thing. You have to be like, all right, how are we going to take advantage of this hardware in the best way possible? Of course, you have to create a Rosetta 2 like situation where you create a good enough translation layer that a lot of the stuff in the back from back there will still work. I'm not telling you to give up any of that stuff, but I am saying you need to see where the future is going. And x86, I think, has only a certain, I think it only has probably like 5 or 6 more years of the type of performance that we're seeing until it kind of just stops.
Yep.
So,
no, I don't disagree. Go ahead.
To that end, right? I want to paint a picture, right? So we've all talked about this mobile store that Microsoft wants to launch, right? And we saw through the FTC leaks that they're considering going to ARM for their next major hardware release, like their Gen 10 console release, and they need to make a decision on it soon. I wonder if there's a world where if they move to ARM on the Xbox and they are they're building this mobile store with games designed for mobile, and like you said, we got about 5-6 years before ARM catches up with x86, right? Which is around the time when Gen 10 would start. Is like, imagine there's a single store that's running the same binaries across, or roughly the same binaries across your iPhone, your Android, and your Xbox, and potentially a handheld. One store. Everything compiled.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening in Microsoft's case.
Go ahead and blame PlayStation.
No. I don't see that happening in Microsoft's case because Microsoft does not know how to let the dead lie. They don't know how to bury the dead, right? You can still see control panels in Windows 11. There's no way, like today, you want to deal content with UWP, go play like older games. They will not leave those behind. And as long as those are still parts of the equation that they still have to contend with, that breaks your model when you move to ARM fully and you're completely native. You're going to need translation layers all over the place.
I'm not talking about Windows though, right? I'm talking about Xbox. There's less.
No, I get it. I get it. But remember, you are an Xbox customer and you want to be able to play the game you bought on Xbox One way back in the day. If they change the ecosystem underlying completely, unlike other companies and other brands, they remember you and try to bring you along, right? They want you to still be able to play what do you call it? I'm forgetting a game, like one of the games that were built on UWP or the old framework. So they will spend time.
Confident. I'm confident in Microsoft. I'm confident in Microsoft being competent enough to be able to create a very good translation layer. They made the impossible possible. They got the original Xbox and 360, all that stuff working via all that stuff. So I have trust in those engineers.
They're also the ones that have a problem getting Windows and ARM to get to get any apps to perform relatively normally until recently.
Two different teams.
Those are the Windows engineers. Those are the Windows engineers.
See,
right?
you say I'm confident in Microsoft. I'm confident in Microsoft, and then when I bring up one, no, but those are Windows.
Me and Lucian are confident in Jason Ronald. That's what
there
we're
you go. Okay,
yes, we are confident in Jason Ronald.
You're confident in the Wizards. I get you. I get you on that. Yeah, on that, I think on that we can all agree. Rob the Don asked a very interesting question that I posted in the from the chat here. He says, question. So can there be a ARM handheld and an AMD console with an Xbox case? Meaning an x86 home console and an ARM handheld that still somehow is the same ecosystem. You just don't know it under the covers because they have it so well integrated. Do we see that work? Because that might be how they solve this old versus new thing.
I don't think that's the best. I think that what would be the best is both. If you're gonna still do an S versus an X next generation, if you're gonna do that, then the S should be the handheld.
Hybrid.
It should be ARM, and the X should still also be ARM, but it should just have way more GPU cores, just way more power. And because it's ARM, it's utilizing less power in the first place. So let's just
you can actively cool it even though you don't need to. Yeah.
And let's look at the TDPs of the current consoles right now. The Xbox Series S, when running the Unreal 5 Matrix demo, peaks out, and that demo is a monster. That demo peaks the Series S at 80 watts, and that is at 7 nanometer on Zen 2, right? The amount of efficiencies that we're talking about here that can be achieved in a few years is going to be monumental. So, same thing that if I recall, the Fox said when he was on our show last year, that's why he thinks that the next console will be a hybrid, because it looks like they're artificially limiting the TDP ranges on the hardware for the S. And I'm starting to get on Everborn's side of the idea of maybe you don't need a dual SKU situation. Maybe you need something more like the Switch, which is, hey, in your hand, this performs like a Series S, or obviously whatever the next generation of that would be.
Series S with more optimization.
60 FPS, X, Y, and Z. It gives you all the things that you need.
And then you plug it into your dock.
As soon as you plug it in, and the dock
it's a monster.
Has a GPU inside of it, and they communicate to be able to do something.
Well, let me take that just a tad bit further. I believe that we are going to move, and this is like very fatalistic or whatever, or nihilistic, but I believe the industry is going to get to a place where the focus on graphics and these $300 billion games are not
they're not the focus anymore, right? And you got Bro Tato making all this money, Vampire Survivor, Cookie Cutter, all these light experiences that are still taking up all this energy and people love.
And so my question is, are we even still going to need the kind of power we need today?
I mean,
we always will. There's always be things
that's what I was about to say. A world where cyberpunk isn't a vision for someone won't exist. There will always be somebody trying to do Star Citizen. But to your point, you're right,
but
and I think that
do that on PC.
Sure, but I think that because it's not advantageous, to your point, monetarily for these businesses and these companies, just like they talked you up the hill of 4K and then try to talk you back down the hill of 4K to, this is here and this is there. You don't need all that for every experience. They will start trying to claw back some of the marketing to say, hey, this is good enough and it's AA and it doesn't all need to be. Because as you've said, that's been a conversation for the whole year of last year, Budgets are too big. Even when games are successful, they're firing people. It takes too much to make your money back. They cannot keep this up, right? And there are many games out there that are cheap that still hit those heights. So why bother?
So and to that end, right? Like when you think of where the industry, like again, 2023 was a great year in terms of
of games, but
sort
talk
of
to the developers.
pent up demand and then release.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're ultimately looking at things,
Mm-hmm.
most of these everyone's betting on service games, and most of them are failing.
Yeah.
You try to fall back to your single player AAA games, they're costing $300 million. Right?
Yep.
Margins are becoming tight. And so where is the industry going? Like, is there a reckoning coming? And if it does, what does it look like in the aftermath of that? Right? Where, people were betting the farm on service games. The whole PlayStation model of high-end AAA games. Again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, but what I am saying is those Insomniac's leaks were very telling, and we've heard Sean Layden warn of this. So if those two things happen at the same time, and it seems like we're leading there, where does the industry turn?
And
because it feels like everybody's placing their hopes on mobile, and that is all. They don't realize it because they haven't been paying attention. Mobile is super saturated, and you have to deal with Apple as a gatekeeper.
So let's talk 2024. I appreciate.
Where does all that go, and what happens in the aftermath of that?
You threaded it for me. So I want to talk about 2024. I want to talk about games for 2024, but I want to talk about, to your point, and everyone, I want you to continue talking here. 2024 is not upon us. 2024 is here, and 2023 came with the best games we could have ever played. But talk to any developer, and they're like, 2023 was a bloodbath. What do we expect the change to be? Because there has to be a change. This is not going to be the same as last year. I think there will be a different. I'm not talking about a reckoning in the sense of Atari levels where everybody goes throws things in trash dumps, but there's going to be a change in mode, a change in vision. What in your estimation is 2024 going to look like?
So it's going to look a lot of ways. I do just want to address one point when you talked about how developers feel about things. The fact of the matter is, it's not just developers. You and I work in these settings as well, right? If you're
it's
in
a
that
bloodbath across
setting,
the board. Yep.
What you will know is that all of these companies overhired because money was cheap. You could borrow money for damn near negative interest. And you could use that to hire people, keep people going. The government subsidies were getting handed out left and right. And then the spigot got turned off. And then the interest rates shot up because we wanted to fight inflation. And now people are going outside, so they have less disposable income. And so things are leveling off. So if you actually look at the employee numbers, all it is doing is sort of resetting to these pre-pandemic numbers. A lot of them are still higher.
While I agree with you, some of the headlines have been kind of devastating. Some of them have been cutting deep.
Again,
and I'm not talking about the ones that were hired and were fired. I'm talking about people who were like, the lady who basically created the Halo logo 20 years ago was let go. All these, like, a lot of, and I hear you, SEO, bubble, bigger news engagement. I believe a lot of what the developers say, and by and large, developers are saying in droves that 2023 wasn't the best year for them. In addition to the new ones that were hired and then fired, it seems like a lot of them cut deep. You don't agree?
No. But that's not really how it works. You don't say, or a lot of the times you don't. They would not say, last in, first out. What they're going to look at is, what do we need right now,
and how much is it costing us?
Who has the biggest pension?
Yes,
let's get rid of those things.
Yes.
And you of all people know they will do that indiscriminately.
Oh, bro, I noticed.
And it is a lot of it is dispassionate, and so this is not to say I don't feel like bad or anything, but like we just have to contextualize these things when we talk about them, right?
Yeah.
And so, but that also connects to if AAA game development is getting way riskier, if less and less service games are becoming successful, maybe the future, at least the short-term future, is like what you have on the screen, right? Mid-budget game.
And what if this game becomes a massive success for Ubi? Can we not see them pivot more in this direction and less in the Ubisoft formula of big AAA maps on everything? Even people like Boom, who loves Ubisoft games, told me he didn't like Avatar this year. It didn't do it for him. Too much of the same, like too much things that he didn't like about certain aspects of the game. Like, we all know it, right? Lucius, please get in on this. We all know it. If nothing changes until Microsoft added them into this mix, Ubi wasn't long for the world, right? So if Prince of Persia mid-budget game becomes a hit, do we not see Ubisoft pivot and become a mid-budget games developer to be able to save some money and still make some games? What are your thoughts, Lucius?
Well, it doesn't. Sorry, let me just say this.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't think it's an either or. I think it's a both and. And you and I had a long discussion about this, about publishers should have a division.
Yeah, for all the various aspects. Things, yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
There should be a division that says, "Hey, we're gonna make $10 to $50 million games." And you can try things out, and you can throw new coats of paint on our old IPs that are just sitting around, reimagine them, and take risks because we're not spending that much money.
Put them on PS5.
Can take creative risks and see what works. And again, when these things hit, they hit and they're super successful. Why? Not because they had to sell 10 million copies or 7 million copies before they broke even. It is because they didn't spend $300 million to make it, or 200 million, or whatever. You have a lower budget, you need to do less in sales to be successful. So there should be more hi-fi rushes, and there should be more Prince of Persia's. I don't know what this was called.
I wholeheartedly agree.
There should be more of that. We don't need these exploding budgets, and we don't need everything to be
Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown. Continue.
Right. And again, you're not gonna look at Vampire Survivor. That basically has no graphics.
Right. Oh, and Vampire Survivor spurned a genre. I caught this based on Phil Spencer. Have you heard of Brotato? It's literally Vampire Survivor, but you're a potato that looks like Rambo. And you're walking around. It is the most addictive. Like, I've been playing that in between Cookie Cutter. Like, people playing the heck out of that game. Hugely successful on Steam. Hugely successful on consoles. It didn't cost Hi-Fi Rush money to make that game, and it's hugely successful on those platforms.
And this is the thing, right? Yeah. That is not going to affect your enjoyment of the game or any of these things. So again, and me, I'm a 2D guy.
I'd say it would affect your enjoyment of the game positively, because it'll be able to play on anything you want it to play instead of the biggest, baddest hardware you can find. These smaller games tend to be everywhere because they can be everywhere, right? Your Cookie Cutters can play on a potato because they don't need that much, resource overhead. So, it all seems to be heading in that direction. And I, for one, would be super happy if Death's Door is the benchmark of games moving forward, and that we all get those kind of experiences. I love those experiences. Lucius, what are your thoughts, sir?
So I'll say three things. One, I think Microsoft is very insulated for this tumultuous time that we are going to go through, because they have Game Pass, so they have a consistent revenue every month coming in, and we saw that report recently that said that a vast majority of Game Pass subscribers pay month to month. They're not like the hardcore who get like years ahead.
2026 game.
Yeah, like most Most people don't do that. They still pay month to month. So Xbox is actually, they have a huge amount of money coming month to month. So that's going to really be able to help them out. They've also pushed this mentality inside of their developers, which is like, hey, you can try out these new things. You can have a Pentiment, you can have a Hi-Fi Rush, and those things typically don't even use a large amount of the teams that they're on, because Tango, that was only like a small team at Tango up until like the last year and a half, like polished it. So that game did not cost them a lot of money, despite it taking four and a half years to come out. It only costs hundreds of millions of dollars when you have hundreds of people working on it for that long. But if you only have 10, 20 people working on a project for 3 years, and then in the last year you get the rest of the team to really buckle in and help, that's not going to cost you that much. So
it's also their vision, right? They weren't trying to go for the Last of Us 2 levels of fidelity and crazy, so it kept money low, it makes sense.
Yeah. So I think that I don't think a lot of publishers are going to be able to replicate the subscription model, but I think that they'll be able to do this thing where they can be more experimental, make more of these smaller games, smaller experiences, especially as a way to be able to try out new IP, revitalize old IP, that sort of stuff. And not to completely throw Sony on the wayside, because I think that Sony is probably the least ready for all of this. But I think the one thing that they've done very well is the expand alone model that they've seemed to embraced recently, which essentially is Miles Morales, right? Miles Morales cost them way less money, but it made them a significant amount of profit. And being able to port that game that already didn't cost them a lot of money to PC, and it's one of the best-selling PlayStation games on PC, they must be very happy with this, right?
I mean, isn't that what's causing it to head the rumors of the violent? What is it? The violent silent protector for Venom? Same kind of idea, right? Same code base, less effort, make some more money out of it. Expand alone makes sense to me. I think it's great.
And I think that the industry really lost themselves for a very long time there, because Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is
I love that game.
I think about all the time. And it's
I love that game.
Far Cry 3, the base game wasn't great, because it was. I still love Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
But Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is what I think about all the time.
Excellent game.
That was like a $10, $20 Xbox arcade kind of thing that you download.
Absolutely. Yep.
And these expand-alones are the perfect way for the industry to kind of help insulate itself from some of these insane prices that it takes to develop a realistic-looking AAA experience. And the last thing I'll say is the industry did this to themselves.
True.
They trained people to only care about the AAA bangers. The Sony,
ray trace, path trace, melt your face. Oh, look at the puddles.
All those people who advocate for that sort of stuff, those are the same people who are ignoring games like Our History Untold coming to Game Pass. Those are the same people who want to ignore a bunch of games like Age of Empires, despite the fact that they do very well, even on console. Those things do very well. They want to ignore things like Flight Simulator, because those aren't the type of games that they want for the AAA, like over the shoulder, really nice experience that Sony and other people have tailored. Well, now the chickens have come to roost. You have made it so that way people only expect those products and only see those as quality. And now you're in a position in where you can't make anything else. And that's a bad position to be in, because PlayStation got rid of some of their smaller studios, like Japan Studios, who were the ones who were creating innovative, insane, weird ideas. And that's kind of the whole point, is to continue to have that like brand affinity towards the interesting stuff. But they leaned way too heavy on the AAA end, and now nobody cares about anything else if it's not AAA bangers, and that's on you.
Absolutely. I know you're an avid watcher of the show. You hear me say it all the time. They keep training their consumers, right? They keep training their consumers. So now it's time to head the opposite way. I just said it a little while ago. They kept putting people on the step ladder. Well, 1080p makes you a better gamer. And then it's 1440p. Oh, 4K is great. And then they went, oh boy, the hardware isn't enough to keep pushing them in this direction. They now expect 8K because we put them on 4K. That's diminishing returns. Let's go back down to 1440p. Let's go back to 1080p. Oh, this is for a different use case versus that. Right. Whereas five minutes ago, they were saying, no, 1080p 4K is the benchmark. If you're not doing it, you suck. Right. Then they realize their diminishing returns and go, no, that's only if you have this OLED screen versus the 10. They're training the consumer, and you, consumer, must see that and do better and not be bowled over by their BS marketing campaigns. But yes, let's add some game talk to this. Because as we know, and it's a secret that basically came out and nobody really was surprised when they heard it. Before the end of this month, Xbox will be front and center in some form or fashion with a developer direct. What are the logistics of this direct? What do we expect to see at this direct? I want to hear this from you guys. I want to hear, do you think they're going to follow exactly the same script they've been following last time? Or do you expect to see something different, something nuanced, something unique come out of them from this year versus last? Mr. Everborn Saga, you've been quiet. I will ask you to chime in on this one. What do we expect to see at this developer direct? Are we seeing lots of little games? Or is there one big blowout, developer direct like Starfield, like last year's version? What are your thoughts?
What I would like to see is this thing officially announced. Everyone is assuming it will be January 24th because last year's was January 24th.
Yep.
But if it's going to get announced, I suspect they'll announce it like on Monday, right?
It's going to come out. It's going to be this week. I bet it's going to be this week. You can come out, talk about it, Greenie, the whole thing. Yeah.
So the thing is, what I would be interested to see is I would like to see their roadmap for the year, right? Speaking of this, I'm gonna just slightly derail. I don't know if you have this. Are we talking about that? Are we talking about that PlayStation throw the gauntlet down video they put out last Monday?
Oh yeah, if you want it, you can get it. We the top. Come and get it.
You want my spot?
You want my spot? Come and take it.
I need to ask a question, and then we'll come back to talking about this. Yeah. I mean, it's part of the 2024.
It was good, though. I enjoyed that.
No. You know what? Let's save that for later. Okay. It just remind me because we do need to go. Yeah. Anyway, Xbox. What I want to see a roadmap for 2022, 2024.
Yep.
In January, you should know what's coming out this year. Right?
I wouldn't know about the whole year, but at least 6 months. Give us because that's what they've been doing, right? They give you the first 6 months and then they give you the second 6 months.
No.
Last year they gave you the first 6 months up until E3, and then they gave you the second one.
No, they didn't. At last year's direct, the only thing they held back was Starfield, but it was still at the show. They said we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Right? So whatever your big holiday game is, you could say we want to give that its own show. Okay. But what do we know that's coming out this year? Right? Well, they've said Hellblade. Mm-hmm.
They've said the Hellblade will come out. Yep.
They've said Aura History Untold. Mm-hmm. They've said Towerborn. Mm-hmm. We know Call of Duty.
Flight Sim 2024.
Yep.
Also Flight Sim 2024.
It's right in the name. Yep, that's right.
So all those things, maybe there's more, maybe there's not. I see people getting very. Oh, by the way, I see 108 Dragons in the chat.
Yeah, man. Salute to you, good sir. Happy New Year, man. Yes.
I haven't talked to that guy in a while.
I know. I hope you're good. We got to get him back on the show. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
But to that end, I see a lot of people thinking like, Clockwork Revolution might come out this year. South of Midnight might come out. Those ain't coming out this year. I'll tell you right now, those games ain't coming out this year.
And why are you saying that? Go ahead.
Because they would have said something by now. Right? And did you get?
And what do you
any
base that on?
Wait a minute. Did you get any gameplay at all? Because I'm going to keep the same energy when it comes to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Did you get any gameplay at all when it came to
Clockwork Midnight? South of Midnight,
South
no.
of Midnight.
Clockwork Revolution, full of gameplay.
Full of gameplay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lucius. I didn't catch that.
There's a tiny bit of there's a tiny bit.
There was enough gameplay in there. There was
enough. Yeah.
In Clockwork Revolution.
Clockwork Revolution.
Yeah.
You could not have a single 15-second camera shot of anything in there. Not one camera shot in there lasted longer than 3 seconds. Single shot.
So what you're telling me is this game is like what, 2-3 years out?
I'm telling you the game is 2025.
Yeah, 2025, just like Fable.
Right.
See, I would think Clockwork is further along than Fable, but okay. That's just my synopsis.
Clockwork
Okay.
in the beginning of 2025. It's not coming out this year. Forget about it.
So what happens if it does? Is this a knees bet? Is this 2024's knees bet? Is this what's happening right now?
You know what? That's a bet. Those are knees I'd be happy to lose. I would love to be wrong, but I'm right.
Microsoft needs to learn how to hold.
And if it comes out, you're all welcome, because that's the way my luck.
This is the knees bet we're doing. 2024. It won't end.
Yeah.
It won't. 2024 will see Clockwork Revolution release.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait. Xbox got some slick stuff. It needs to come out on Xbox. I don't want
it needs to release. No, because the ecosystem is also Xbox. It is also PC.
Bet or not, it needs to come to Xbox.
Bro, that's not an excuse. For games like Aura History Untold, for games like Age of Empires, you can make an excuse for that. This is a first-person action adventure game. If you try to only put that on PC first, I'm revolting. I'm burning.
Look, that's a different conversation, Lucius. All I'm saying is it will release in 2024. Where it releases, I don't care. If I get it in my hands to play anywhere, your knees are mine.
We don't have a bet. I'm not making that bet.
You're telling me in the calendar year of 2024, it could release.
Year of our Lord 2024. It needs to release on the Xbox.
Yeah, see, you're hedging. I say it will. Hear me. No, I don't. Hear me. I say it releases. Where it releases, who gives it? I don't care. It releases and I can play it. You're like, oh no, it's got to release on a console. Like, come on.
No, Asante, do you actually believe in your heart of hearts that it's going to release on PC and not on Xbox? What are you talking about here?
No, I'm not. I don't believe that at all. I'm just wondering why this man is hedging.
It's the same bet.
No, I just said it releases. Why does it have to release on console first?
Except
I don't think, it's not about first. It's about it doesn't make any sense for it to release somewhere else.
Then that's fine.
Using the word release, it just seems weird. It seems like you're gonna be like, oh,
yeah, he
leaked somehow, and like I'm able to like
no. This is what I'm thinking, right? Let's say it comes out. Let's say it comes out early access. Insider program on PC, I win because it releases.
That's not releasing.
Because it is.
No, we are talking about official street date. Listen, I'm not even.
Fine.
I'm not even
It'll officially release.
Access.
It'll officially full release. Calendar year 2020. But I will not add the platform to my head. My platform is the Xbox platform, which is both PC and console.
Yeah,
that is the platform.
Why would you exclude console in that?
No.
In your
I'm not excluding console from this. He is saying it has. But let me finish, Lucius. He is saying that in order for the bet to work, it has to release on Xbox, and I'm like, no, it could just release on Xbox PC, and it's still released. It's still released. Well, yeah, that's to you, but that's still, the public can buy it at that point. It can still be played with an Xbox controller, maybe just not on the set-top box in the living room, but you could still release it and play it. If that happens this year, why is that not officially a release?
Well, one, you're creating scenarios that would just never happen. So
Sure.
I don't know why we're talking about this.
No. All I'm saying is if you are confident that it will release on the console, and I am saying that it will release, then what's the problem?
I am not confident it will release at all.
Okay, so you're saying that in the calendar. Let's hedge this bet. Let's crystallize it. You're saying really in the calendar year of 2024, right? People will be able to pay money for a full released reviewed product that is Clockwork Revolution.
He's saying the exact opposite.
No, that's what I am saying. Those are the parameters that I'm making. People will be able to go and purchase a product called Clockwork Revolution and play it, and it'll have reviews against it. Not released. Now, where will it release? I don't know. Could it be console? Sure. Could it be only PC? Doubtful, but hey, weirder things have happened. I am just saying, in the calendar year of 2024, that game will be playable and purchasable by people. That's my bet. Where it's purchasable by people, I don't care about that part. I'm just saying it will be available and purchasable by people.
We can work this bet out offline, but I've stated my terms. Now, back to what I'm looking forward to this year, with this show specifically. We need street dates, right? We need
facts.
We need to know.
Yeah, I've heard PlayStation people say, "Well, we don't have a roadmap because we know what we're playing in the first 6 months on PlayStation. We don't know what we're playing on Xbox." I've heard people say that.
If you think about what we got last year, right? Hi-Fi Rush was launched at the show, right? That's a date. We got our date for Redfall, and we got a date for Minecraft Legends. And I think we had a date for Starfield at that time. I'm not sure, but they did tell us that the show was coming was coming soon. So you basically got the roadmap for Xbox's first party for that whole year at that show. Like actually think about that, right? And so I'm expecting similar. And if there are games that are unannounced, they should be announced at this show, right? You say we're getting these things. And I like this idea of January, February. This is what we have coming out. This is the deep dive. If it's coming out this year, it should be far enough along for you to be able to show it and be able to talk about it. Now, there has been rumors that Avowed may still need more time in the oven.
Yep, I've heard that.
So, is that a thing?
I regulate Avowed to 2025. Like, even though people have seen 2 trailers of it now, I still regulate Avowed to 2025.
Avowed 2025. I think Hellblade is going to end up being their Starfield for this year, meaning their
big tentpole,
the fourth quarter title. And
by the way, real quick, the chat put a poll in the chat. Will Clockwork Revolution release this year? Now, the options are yes, heck no, K is smoking something, and Everborn is way wrong. Let's see where we go before the end of the show. Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I think Hellblade is going to be their end of the year title.
Okay.
I think we're going to get a date for Towerborn, which is probably going to be somewhere around February or March.
Okay.
I think you're going to get a date for Aura History Untold. Again, that's kind of niche, that genre. And then I think you're going to get maybe one game that was that's a surprise, but I think it's going to be a surprise in the sense that it was already announced, but now they're telling us when it's actually coming out.
So Boom was talking on his show, rumor and speculation, obviously, because it's out there, that he's hearing that the quote unquote that Hi-Fi Rush spot will go to and not to say it will shadow drop that day, but the potential you didn't see it coming and it's coming soon, or you big blowout will come in the form of a Double Fine game that they've been working on for a while, that they paused and then resumed when purchased with Microsoft. Actually, inklings of that game have been on the internet for many years now, called Kiln. Have you heard of it? Kiln. Like,
I actually watched. There's a 1 hour playtest video.
Yes. They're saying that may be the one that's finished.
It was the result of a game jam, so I don't think that video is going to really be indicative of the end design. I do think it's going to.
There's a lot of good ideas in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ideas.
It was interesting. Yeah.
But it feels like it's one of those PvP kind of games.
Yes.
And I don't know.
It feels like it won't be for me. That's right. It feels like it won't be for me.
It's probably closer to a Party Animals where it is PvP, but it's all fun and games. Like it's a party game. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, like a Fall Guys or
Lucius.
Or something.
You guys are not wrong. You're onto something. If you look at Game Pass right now, there are a lot of those kind of games that are not really getting a lot of attention. Have you guys played Headbangers with the penguins? Same kind of thing. Fall Guys energy, lots of fun. My kids play it all the time on Game Pass, right? So maybe they're trying to make their own first party cool, fun, chill, play with a bunch of friends, kind of almost what do they call them? Battle Royale, non-violent type situations. Could be.
Which is why I had me and Everborn had that conversation. I don't remember if it was in the Discord or in the Twitter Spaces, but about Everwild and what that could end up being. I have been looking forward to Everwild because in my mind, when I first saw it, I saw this could be like a Pokemon without the dog fighting. It could be kind of like an Animal Crossing-esque thing.
Oh, we're doing this.
It could be a cozy game, is what you're saying?
Not 100%. Not 100% a cozy game.
Okay.
In the same way that some games like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing and many of those others have found significant success, especially the most
those are cozy
Animal
games.
Sure. I mean, they're cozy for a while and then they get pretty serious.
Sure.
Yes. But in the same way that not every game is for every gamer, I understand that some people may not like things like Animal Crossing or whatever, but you can't ignore the numbers that those games make and that they sell significantly. So if you want the Xbox ecosystem to be a place where you have a diverse amount of products and you're also not looking to constantly pay for third-party Game Pass, whatever, if your strategy in the future is to at some point do the Netflix model where you're filling up more and more of your library with your own content, if that's the case, then creating a game like this is important. Now, I'm not saying that game specifically has to be Everwild. I'm not saying that, but the fact that Double Fine may be going back to Kiln and that we may be getting a few of these sort of games is very good in my eyes as somebody who just likes to play a lot of different types of games. The reason why I play on Xbox is because of the diversity of the platform, because if I was the type of AAA bangers sort of person, I'd only play on PlayStation because that's where you can find them.
That's where you find them.
Yeah. And it's not to say that Xbox doesn't have that, but it is to say that like the reason why I am here is because I like to play a lot of different types of games. I like to play puzzle games. I like to play, like, I dip into RTS games every now and then. Like, I'm the type of person that I've never played a game like Diablo in my life, and then I put in like 500 hours of Diablo 4 last year, right? And I could be the type of person who's never played a type of game like Baldur's Gate, and I'm currently 40 hours into Baldur's Gate, really enjoying myself, nowhere close to finishing Act 1.
So Lucius, why you're on the topic of the games you like, what games do you think we will see there? By the way, real quick, I see you, L. Paul, $2 super chat. He says, Power World, surprise! That game was so strange. Here's this cute
that is
little
weird
animal with a machine gun. I'm like, what the actual?
Yeah, you mowing down animals with guns, and a lot of those animals.
It was a
like
fever
Pokemon.
dream.
It was crazy.
Yes,
that was crazy.
It looked, that game, Pal World, looked to me like what an AI would create when you say create a Pokemon game.
And the thing
create
is,
a gritty Pokemon game. AI generated.
Nintendo and Pokemon are quite litigious, so the fact that like they felt confident to be able to create a product that even somewhat looked like whatever. Or not.
With
I'm not going to
guns,
get into it. Yeah.
Anyway,
it's insane. What I want from the developer direct is three things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One, I want dates, at least for the first 6 months, if not for the full year.
Yep.
The second thing is that I want Xbox to make it very clear Xbox is ABK and ABK is Xbox. I want, in the same way that we had
let me
sit down,
just not to cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't mean to beat a dead horse.
Uh-oh.
But if that rumor is true, they can't even convince themselves that Xbox is Xbox. How are they gonna convince them?
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
That is terrible.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Good.
You speaking facts. But outside of them giving me a roadmap of this year and making sure that the casuals understand that ABK is Xbox and Xbox is ABK and all that stuff, I want to see some ABK backlog stuff coming in.
Yeah.
Even I'm not asking you to, put in the brand newest stuff, but let's just say that I'm pretty sure Diablo 4's expansion is supposed to come out this year. If that expansion is coming out this year, you need to release the Diablo games into Game Pass every month until that comes out. Or like, essentially, I'm not telling you to just drop huge, like have a huge drop when it comes to a bunch of Game Pass games. I'm telling you to strategically plan your drops for Game Pass when it comes to all this ABK content, because nobody's going to be able to enjoy it if you drop 40 games on us all at once.
True. And I think they learned that with Bethesda. They dropped too many and it made people just forget some of the stuff. Yeah.
But if you already have your own dates for your own games and you're like, right, the average person, it's going to take the average person about 3 weeks to be able to beat Hellblade, for example. Let's just say that's like a 10-12 hour game. It'll probably take the average person a couple sit downs of maybe a couple weeks to be able to beat it. For like a gamer like us, it may take us just a weekend, right? But they take into consideration the average person. All right, so they get Hellblade 2 to 3 weeks later. Let's hit them with some of these like kind of scary psychological whatever games that ABK may have released in the past. We have Avowed coming in. All right, bet. Let's have some of the things that are RPGs that are kind of associated with that kind of genre that ABK, because ABK's made so many different types of games in the past and they own so much.
You
can strategically make it so that way you are dropping things that relate to the content either before or after.
So are you saying, Lucius, that out of nowhere, out of just sheer just happenstance, we wake up one morning, we hear all this stuff about Wolverine, and then like Raven's Wolverine old school game drops into Game Pass, stuff like that?
I mean, that's if or
all
Sony
the Spider-Man Dimension games like drop into Game Pass.
I don't know if the Sony contract would allow that with this.
I don't think so. Yeah, who knows?
I would love for that to happen.
Contra programming, a little bit of oddities would be interesting. It'd be fun to see. I do agree with you. But okay,
let's get those Transformers games on Game Pass.
Right, and hasn't Hasbro come out and be all about it? That's right, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, of course they want the bag. It's an old game. You can get the bag from an old game. Of course they want that.
And then keep it fresh and renew it without having to do any kind of extra work. They just kind of more bags show up. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You know.
Hasbro's working on a AAA Transformers game.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yes,
that's even better because then you can get people interested in the Transformers brand in that video game again.
Lead up to the big dog. That's right. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Jax82, $2 super chat. He says Xbox needs to show games, dates, and deliver. I mean, I think 2023 showed that they can do that. Like they showed some games, they showed dates, they delivered. You know,
we need to stop talking about what Xbox needs to prove.
They've done it.
They can keep their own games on their own damn platform. But other than that, they proved it in 2023. Yeah. They just need to continue what they did in 2023.
They just need to continue it. Yes, the flywheel is now started. Right.
You know what I just noticed? 33 Immortal.
Yes, 33 Immortals
be coming out.
Yep.
And Stalker 2, which I'd like it for that to be at the show, but maybe it is, maybe it's not. Also, don't forget, Replaced.
Yep. Yeah, and Stalker 2 and Replaced, 2 Ukraine studios, so we don't know where they will fall, but seemingly 2024. They've already both have actually spoken to it. Stalker more than Replaced. Replaced did speak to it, but lightly. But Stalker basically has said that 2024 is the date they're pushing for. So yeah, we might see that.
Wait, I got another one for you. Jesus, what is the name of this game?
Baby Steps.
Definitely not Baby Steps. Please stop it. Get that.
I just messed with you.
No. It's called. It's like the action adventure game. It was supposed to come out this year for Xbox in Game Pass. It has the black chick.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Flintlock.
Got delayed. Flintlock, yes.
Yeah, Flintlock. Yes. Yep. Flintlock, I would say is Flint, Michigan, and Xbox. That's Xbox's version. PlayStation gets Stellar Yams. You know, same kind of scenario.
That's another one, and I wouldn't mind it being at this show, although I feel like this show should be more first party focused. But I wouldn't mind that because that's a game that I'm looking for. But then,
the Lucky Squire is another one.
That's everywhere. That's going to be everywhere.
What also, maybe you talked about it, but at the developer direct. Are we gonna get the Blizzard guys over there for the Diablo expansion? Imagine a deep dive on that.
I think for now, so far, they're kind of separating their PC focused gamers from the console focused game. I don't think I would see Blizzard specifically at this show unless they were porting it to a console. I don't know why, but I just get that feeling.
We're talking about Diablo, right?
No, Diablo 4.
Oh, the Diablo 4. No. Okay, my brain was going wow. Forgive me.
About World of Warcraft.
Yes, my brain was going wow. But yes, in the Diablo specifically, sure, because they're already there. They could speak to more of those expansions. Absolutely.
I feel so. A lot of people keep saying Contraband. If we see that, it's not going to be at the developer direct. I think it would be at the June.
It'd be at the big show. Yeah, I think it'd be at the big show too. And we are very much likely. It's about due. Right? When was the last time they worked on a game? When was the last time Contraband, Avalanche? What was that last game? Part 3 of Just Cause, and that was 19, 17, 18. I'm not sure. Let me check. Just Cause 3, 4, 2018 was their last release. So since that time, presumably they've been working on Contraband, which. It's been a while, right? Like, if nothing else, I think they have to show at least more than that CG trailer that we saw, right?
Did they have to show more Everwild? They don't have to show anything.
Well, but Everwild got in trouble and everybody heard about it and it got retooled and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the status is of Contraband.
All right,
people are calling Everwild Neverwild because they think it's never going to come out.
That's too much. That's too much.
Listen, they should just give me the trademark on that. I could bring it into the Everborn universe.
Yeah, call Everborn in the Everwild universe. Yeah, they'll never do that.
Let me not say that too loud before they try to come.
Well, you had that first.
Yeah, I did.
You had that first, and we have digital proof, so you good.
Anyway, the other things that I just want to see further out this year from Xbox.
Yep.
I would like updated trailers, including in-game footage of Perfect Dark, Everwild, and State of Decay 3.
So I will put it out here now on Front Street.
Not do that.
Are you saying this for this show, or are you saying this?
No. I'm saying for the June showcase. This is first.
So I will say this for the posterity. I think you will see some kind of Perfect Dark at the big show, not the small show, but that thing has been in the oven for long enough. And it's their tentpole, it's their Starfield level zeitgeist grabbing thing. I think they show it there, right? Doesn't mean it'll release anytime soon or 2025 even. I don't even know that, but definitely we have to see something at that big show.
Speaking of something,
Indiana Jones. Do you think we see it this show, or do we think we see it June?
I say that's June.
I do, but I want to be clear though. No one seems to be thinking, and tell me if I'm thinking about this correctly. We think it's like XGS time to shine in 2024, right? Do we think that Bethesda, of all their studios on the Bethesda side of things, they don't have anything to show for January? I don't know.
Oh no, I'm sure they still have more. So, I'm sure Machine Games hasn't spoken in a while. All these others.
Do they have anything to show at the Developer Direct? I think there's going to be a presence from Bethesda there. And
but you know what though? I hope that's not the case, and I'll tell you why. Much like Insomniac, that's all you hear from PlayStation now. Even though PlayStation used to be big way before they acquired Insomniac, recently, relatively, right? I get that it just so happened that Bethesda had some bullets in the chamber, so that's why they've been leading the initiative. But there's been so many purchases before them that have still been mum's the word. Yeah. Where's the next State of Decay? Where's, you know what I'm saying? Like
last year we got
so
3
many
Bethesda
of them.
releases.
Exactly. It's time for Bethesda to sit back and cool, and maybe give us DLC. Yes,
something very interesting.
But this is what I was about to say. Maybe give us Starfield DLC.
Shattered Space.
That's the only thing I can accept. But like more. No. Sit back. You've had y'all shot. Let them breathe a little bit. Like just come on.
You know what? Lucius, maybe they can announce that Hi-Fi Rush is for the streets at this show.
if you announce that a game is for the streets on your own show, I'm for the street. I'm out. Because this is an Xbox show. You're talking about somebody else on your Xbox.
But isn't that such an Xbox thing to do,
bro? If they do that, they're smoking that Dreamcast guy meth.
That is defeat from the jaws of victory to the nth degree.
Like
I couldn't. That is loser behavior that I cannot associate myself with.
You know what? If I was Sony, I would go into Xbox tweets every time they lost a new game and just say "See you soon."
No, but you know what? It's funny you say this. Microsoft kind of did this recently. It just kind of got lost in the sauce. Everybody, what was it? Sony show a tweet showing all these Yakuza games and how much they're going to cost and all these many. 5 seconds later, Game Pass announces the exact same treat, exact same format. Oh, by the way, all on Game Pass. They're blows. The blows are out there in them streets. You know what I'm saying? They're out there. They fighting. It's good.
But also, so on a more serious note, can we just take a moment to count what is confirmed for this year?
See, so what I was trying to do,
ABK games.
What I was trying to do was to see, and I'm using Game Informer, obviously, maybe not the best barometer.
There are 6 games confirmed for this year: Our History Untold, Avowed, Towerborn, Hellblade, Call of Duty 2024, and Flight Sim 2024.
Yep.
Those are 6 games.
Those are confirmed right now.
What if the Diablo expansion is like a full whole other 30-hour campaign? Because I would count that too.
typically they're like expansions from Diablo side are typically like 10-15 hours. Like they're typically quite hefty.
Yeah.
Okay. And then don't we also have to, I know it's not first party, but it is an exclusive. Do we count? Well, then we don't want to get walls of text, but apparently those count again. I feel like we should count Stalker.
I mean, Stalker counts. I mean, it is a first party, like, funded game.
Yeah,
by the new rules. By the new Twitter hate convention.
Yeah, I don't know whose rules we're following by.
Yeah. You're bringing fleas to us, sir. I don't want any of that. Get that out of here. Screw them rules.
Microsoft has probably supported this project more like a first party project
than any of them. Yeah, absolutely. Because, this is at that Tomb Raider level.
Yeah, as soon as these dudes started getting in trouble and like the war in Ukraine started happening, like Microsoft fully backed these dudes. They're like, all right, we understand what's going on with you guys. Same thing with the replaced developers. They're like, we understand what's going on right now. Here's extra money to help you out. If you need to be able to move your people out, do what you need to do. And you have extra time. And you still have the Game Pass bag. You don't have to worry about that. You're not going to lose the Game Pass bag. Just keep doing what you're doing.
They didn't even do all of that for Undead Labs.
Can we talk to them? Can we be fair and be maybe a little bit pessimistic and say it works for them in the realm of PR as well? Like you know, you're backing these guys who are literally fighting for their lives, and you're doing your best for them. It's good. It's a good look for you, but it also, you know, it also is good PR also. So
I mean,
I don't see a world where they'd be like,
media.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
Wouldn't know that based off the way that the media.
To be fair, yes.
Good PR if nobody knows about it, right?
Yeah.
So if the media aren't talking about it, nobody knows that you're the ones who are single-handedly keeping these dudes afloat and alive right now.
Yep. No, that's true. That's true. So
I wouldn't say single-handedly, but yes.
Yeah,
they're helping.
That's true. So
I mean, here's what I would say. When your country gets invaded like that, if your currency continues to exist, it is worth not much. So anything that you previously had in the bank, that's not really a thing. Like
in wartime, your paper becomes literally that paper.
Yeah, and like unless you had your finances fully digitized through another organization that was outside of your own country or is a multinational whatever,
and your currency is in other currency, not your own currency, then it's still worth something. The moment there's war in your country, that currency plummets.
Yeah, so like when I say single-handedly, I mean that from like a geopolitical standpoint, because it's sure they have some money and they're still, you know, whatever, but how much is that money actually worth in comparison to the American dollars that Microsoft is giving them? And
to that point, that's why moves that being made, like for example, Boom, like doing a giveaway and like giving away 15 copies of Stalker now, or it's ballooned up to 20. Right, because they saw, hey, you're in wartime, this and that. People thought that maybe, it may be something small. That's a big deal, because to this point, as it is right now, their world is completely upended. Like even the value of the dollar that you expect is not something that they can rely on. So a mom and pop organization saying, here, maybe here's a couple $1,000. We all appreciate your game. You know, it's a big move, right? So I hope that when Stalker comes out and replaced as well, that they get all the monies, because they need it more than anybody else at this point, right? Say what you will, they even in scenarios where they've left the Ukraine, they are a Ukraine-based developer. They have family there. If you know, hopefully everything is still okay. It's horrible situations out there, and the fact that they're still there making their games, Belarus, I think. What do you call it? The Stalker developer moved to. But yes, you know, they're still there. So I think it's awesome that people are, you know, understanding that charity is necessary here, because these guys are in a very precarious position with their livelihoods and hell, their lives. So yeah.
One thing I think I'll be able to say about this year, apart from the work that I'm doing, so I'll be playing a lot of 2D platformers, but I also think this year is like a monster year for RPGs.
Oh, yeah.
So when we talk about Dragon's Dogma 2, when we talk about Final Fantasy Rebirth,
do we see Mass Effect
we talk
this year?
about of course we don't. When we talk about
we may not even see Dragon Age this year. We may not even see Dragon Age until 2025.
Don't say Mass Effect and Dragon Age, otherwise Slow is gonna come in here and get mad.
I don't know what you're doing. You asked that question.
I know I asked that question.
I'm gonna send you back to your God with that one. Okay, so the other thing is,
you back to your God. I see what you did there, sir. I laughed my butt off this morning. Anyway, continue.
Lucius, you know what I'm talking about. I sent that to you.
Oh my God, it was hilarious. Anyway,
that was really funny.
But Metaphor, that game from Atlas, I'm actually very excited about that.
Fantasia or whatever.
Because we're gonna get all the sensibilities of Persona, but it's going to be fantasy based and it's action combat. That was all the things that kept me away from Persona. Is going to be right here, and I know they're one of the best RPG makers out there. So
yeah, I'm really excited for this game.
So
also,
I will
go ahead, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth is another RPG.
A lot of people loving that game. Yeah,
a lot of people are really hyped for this.
Absolutely,
really hyped for this.
So I want to end the
trailers
show.
Haven't done it any justice.
No, it hasn't, but it's funny. It's funny. We're almost at 3 hours. Go ahead, Lucius. Finish.
Okay. Here's the thing about Yakuza games. It's like the most intense Japanese drama you've ever seen in your entire life during the cutscenes and during like the main story gameplay. Yeah. And then 80% of the time, it's the silliest shit you've ever seen in your entire life. I apologize, that's my one.
Oh,
but
like that's your one.
It is insane.
Mini games, weird things left and right. Yeah.
So the experience of a Yakuza game is something that cannot be described or even shown. It can only be experienced by you. And thankfully, there are plenty of those Yakuza games on Game Pass. If you were to try one, I would say, maybe Yakuza 0 because it's the best one, but it's also kind of long. So,
Okay. So, okay.
What about Inshin?
Oh,
Ishin.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ishin. The problem with Ishin is just the fact that it's its own very unique
separate story, right?
Side story, and it's using a lot of characters that you have affinity towards and giving them these new names. If that's your first Yakuza game, that's only going to confuse you because you're not going to know the real names of any of the people.
Right.
And Yakuza is very good about, if the person isn't dead, they're going to try to utilize them in future games. So like knowing the importance of these characters at some point becomes like a nice thing for people who've been playing the games for a very long time.
Right. What about the man who erased his name?
Well, but
the man who erased his name is also a great one to start in. But just know that you're going to be dealing with 3D brawler combat, and at the very beginning, when you don't have a lot of move sets, it can be a little frustrating. But as you unlock more and more rule sets, it like more and more move sets through buying more skills, it opens up the game, and then you really start enjoying that combat.
So,
but that's
Lucius. Like, am I wrong in thinking that the what do you call it, the Like a Dragon series is kind of like in TV show parlance, it's like an anthology where actors and characters get repositioned sometimes depending on
no
okay.
In fact, not like 90%,
because they have the main story, right? And then they have small offshoot stories. And in those offshoot stories, some of them stay the same, but there have been instances where those same characters have been given different personalities.
Names and like different personalities, identities, yes. But I would say 80 to 90% of the games have a level
the
of
same through line.
them.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's not to say that you have to play every single game, but it is to say that as you play each and every game, you build upon the
relationship
nuance
with
of
with
these
of the
characters and the
character.
relationship. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So like,
Okay.
so each game is going to give you a snapshot of who that person is
Mm-hmm.
during a very particular period of time. In fact, most of the Yakuza games are around the Christmas season. So like typically from like the actual storyline of the game is like a couple weeks long. So you're following a couple weeks of just insanity. And that's typically around the Christmas period.
According to Slow-Mo, then they're Christmas games.
I mean, I would
hard in the Christmas movie.
I would consider them Christmas games, but most people wouldn't.
So okay, ladies and gentlemen, and I have one last question before we leave here, but thank you guys so much for being here. We're running the bottom of our episode. We're at 3 hours and change. Please hit the like button if you haven't done so. Consider subscribing if you are new here. One of my New Year's resolutions this year is every time we do this show, I'll be standing desk. So you see me, I'm standing right now for 3 hours. This will tell me it's time that we're done. So here we are. Every time we see the show, you will see me standing. I will lift my desk, and this is what we'll do. Standing desk every weekend. That's what we're doing. Last question before we get out of here completely.
And we didn't get to 200 likes.
And we didn't get to 200.
That's why we're not showing the game. We were supposed to show the game.
But you know what? Maybe we'll do something more proper with your game footage, sir. I want to do something more proper, something more.
This is an ongoing thing. I'm not hiding it. I just like we're gonna see unvarnished, unglamorized look.
No, but what I mean is I want to put it in a different format that can make that format make the content shine better. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in the background. I have an idea. My last question, and I'll go to you, Lucius, first. Maybe it's a quick question. Maybe it leads us somewhere else. But question for you: does 2024, in any way, shape, or form, I'm talking about through subsidiaries or through other means, do we see Microsoft increase their studio count?
Yes. I think that right now Embracer Group is hemorrhaging money, and they would like to offset anything that they possibly can. And I imagine that Microsoft is already looking towards Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal, as they are both working on projects that may impact Xbox in the future. So I think it would be smart for them to at least approach Embracer Group in this moment of weakness and be like, yo, you bought all three of these companies for 300 million or something, and you got rid of one of them, like that one of them doesn't exist anymore. And Eidos is technically working on a project for Amazon, so it's not like we're going to be able to have access to them immediately. But
isn't Eidos also working with Microsoft on on Fable?
Yes, they're aiding with Fable. They're like a support studio on. But Microsoft could make it that way, and where it's like, hey, we won't even have full access to these dudes because they still have to do something else for someone else. But we're okay with paying you $600 million for these two. You get double what you paid for. Technically, we don't even get everything that you paid for because you guys already broke up one of the three companies. It was Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and it was Square Enix Montreal, I believe, is what they were called. And then they changed the name. Something like that. They changed the name to something else, and then like 6 months later, they closed them down. So I don't know where those employees are, where the IP that they associated with that studio is going to go. I don't know if that studio even had any of its own IP. But I will say, Microsoft can be like, yo, give me that. You can turn your 2 into 4 and 4 into mo, and then I can take the people that I need to properly support my projects and have that for the future. I think that's probably
right.
The
you
best
saw it, right? I see you. I lost my mind when I read that real quick. Yes.
No way, Jose.
Erodimus in the chat, dropping the best chat of all. And I've watched that whole interview. Like I watched all 2 hours of it last night. Holy crap!
That one interview is better than all 12 of his stand-ups combined.
He came out shooting too. Like
he came out shooting. Like, okay, Erodimus, for the people who are listening in the audience, he says, Everborn, you know when you make it, the shadow group will make you wear a dress.
Oh man. So
in that one interview, he became like the most memed individual. Like, there's no meme that doesn't get covered in that interview. You might as well just get rid of all other memes at this point.
Everyone he mentioned within 24 hours had to put out some sort of 2-3 minute video talking about what,
because he knows what they're talking about. He knows what he's talking about. The man's got receipts, you know.
And all the people that he like Cube came out said, basically corroborated most of what he said. But all of the other people that he was going against, everyone that spoke out about it, just sounds so sus.
Yes. Everything that they said, it was just like, even Luda coming out and saying what he said, despite the fact that I was like, Luda, I understand that you have to like defend your wife.
He has to hedge, you know. Yes,
came at you kind of crazy X, Y, and Z, but I don't know, bro. Like, I think
all of them comported exactly to what he said. Like, exactly, it's just hilarious.
It's like, all right. Like, when that's the thing. When somebody calls out your next move and then you do that next move, I don't know, bro.
Oh my god! And then the Kevin Hart thing. No, let's move forward. See, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. In our Discord, these are the type of conversations we have. And let's just say it's not PG-13. So once again, I have put the link in the Discord. Please join the Discord. Let's get off of Elon's back. Let's do something for ourselves for a little while. We expect to see y'all there. You can chat with us. We'll chat with y'all. But you know what? We are at the end of this episode. The mysterious one. Can people find you anywhere? Where can people keep up with your mysterious work, sir? Where can we hunt you down?
Don't look for me.
He's pulling a Reforge. You got to be a member if you want to talk to him.
Oh no, it's not. Hey, you don't even have to be like. You could join the Discord, right? And I'll be in the Discord every now and then, you know. But don't look for me anywhere else. I don't want to be found anywhere else.
You want to find him? Put the Mass Effect game in. You see the man smoking, and there's a moon. That's him. There you go. That's where you can find him.
The elusive man.
The elusive man. Exactly. Mr. Everborn Developer. I know this is going to be the year where it's going to be a lot of dev talk, a lot of putting out content. I'm looking forward to seeing all the content you put out. I want to promote it. Let people see that hey, you too can get in there, move and shake. Mr. Everborn Saga can show you the way. Where can people keep up with all your ongoings this week and for the rest of the year?
Right here and in the Discord, I'm going to try to see if I can wean myself off of the drug that is X and try to start getting my information from the Discord, keep it with the private communities, less toxic that way, talking about more tech stuff, more real gaming stuff, unfiltered opinions. So come check us out in the Discord, and that's where you'll find me. Also, Everborn Saga everywhere, but you know that everywhere: Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Quest 3, all that jazz, and everbornsaga.com. But again, you guys are here every week. You know this already. You know where to find us. But we got to say it anyway. Where I need to find you, audience, is clicking subscribe if you have not already subscribed.
Please.
That's something we got to get better about this year, about staying on top of everybody to subscribe. If you come here every week and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Right?
We appreciate you for being here every week. Subscribe.
If you just pass by, hit the subscribe button. It's not going to kill you.
Absolutely. So, for Mr. Everborn Saga, for the elusive man, and myself, welcome to 2024. We're looking forward to all the craziness. We're going with some ideas we have floating around here and there. Oh, speaking on the Discord, you'll see private channels that we're going to start opening based on memberships we're going to turn on memberships. there's just a lot that we're going to do this year, and with your help and your support, we're going to definitely do that as well. Again, maybe not next week, but in the next week or two, in the next few weeks, there will be another giveaway of a Series S with an X screen included, and most likely it'll be, you have to be a member of the channel, you have to subscribe to us and things like that, and we'll subscriber, not a member, a subscriber, and we'll pick a winner, and hopefully you are a part of that. One thing that I will say before we go, I love the fact that the person who won the Series X needed it, a person who actually needed it, and so much so that he was really appreciative of getting it, somebody who had fallen on a bit of hard times, and this is the just that Christmas gift that they needed. So it was awesome that we could provide that, and we're going to try and do that every year in between, during the various shows. We may drop a code here and there, and because show that support, all the super chats you guys give us, it's just so generous. So it goes back into the show, it goes into the visuals you see, and the giveaways we do. So thank you guys so much, we appreciate it. Anything else I missed, Mr. Everborn? Any housekeeping notes, anything that we still need to discuss?
We need to discuss getting the channel memberships going, and people are still asking for emojis. And we at some point we're gonna get a Patreon going. So just stay on the lookout.
So,
but right now, Discord, that's what we're talking about.
Absolutely. Hit the button. It'll be in the chat. It'll be in the description when this thing posts. Thanks again for being here. Welcome to GCP for 2024. See you next week. For myself, the Elusive Man, and Everborn Saga. Keep it gaming. Peace.
Nice to be in orbit.